Welcome to my latest Warhammer 40k battle report. This time we're going big, 3,000 points worth of big as the Thousand Sons, led by Magnus, take on the end of all things, my Death Guard warband, led by Mortarion, and both of us have a knight each as well. And this is what we're working with. Lots of Death Guard and two big nasty monsters in the backfield. And lots of space wizards from space with another two big monsters stomping forward in the backfield, or maybe coming forward and rampaging in amongst my lines. And we welcome to the channel, Badger King. Say hi, Badger King.
Hi, Badger King.
And you started during lockdown.
Indeed.
How many armies have you got now?
7.
Why 7?
So I'm a bit of a kleptomaniac, and my wife does it as well. So
nice.
I started with an army, and we paid it together, and then we bought the starter box set. And she looked at the Necrons and went, I want those. So then she's got lots of Necrons.
Yeah.
And then I painted some more stuff, Grey Knights and some Chaos Knights. And then she saw some Orcs at Warhammer World and went, they're bright and colourful, I want some Orcs.
Right.
And then we're going to do some Tyranids. So, and we've got some Thousand Sons. And it's carried on.
It keeps snowballing.
It's, terrifyingly so.
So shout out to Lady Pharaon, the wife of Badger King. Hope you're doing well. We're playing 3,000 points on this big old table here. Taken hold, Dawn of War, chosen battlefield. There are 5 objectives down and you get 5, 10, 15 points for each of the primaries. And you'll notice there is a couple of really big, large off-site blocking terrain pieces in the middle of the battle grid, but not as much as I normally put down, Badger King. I did that on purpose because 3,000 points, we need to kill each other.
Battering time.
We need to batter each other, and so I expect there'll be quite a lot of stuff dying. Maybe not in the first turn because you've got a very mid-range army in Survey, but turn 2 and 3 should be absolutely brutal, and we'll see what's left in turn 4 or 5 to spread out and score these objectives and rack up as many secondaries as we can get. The battle mat is from urbanmats.com. These defensive lines here that you can see are from marchofwar.co.uk, and the buildings are no longer available. I'm sorry. So I'm really sorry about this bit because I know it annoys the crap out of some people. Honestly, it annoys the crap out of me when I watch YouTube videos and they do this bit, but I'm doing this bit, which is, if you'd like to support me, then become a channel member. And if you become a tier 3 channel member, you get an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday. Thank you. Big shout out to all my channel members for helping support me. Right, the pain is done. Let's go on to have a look at these armies. Badger King. This is 2,985 points.
Oh, you don't get an internet trophy.
I don't get the internet point. No. I'm 15 under.
I feel I've already won.
You've already won. The knight, it's crazy, isn't it? Like, we talked about this offline before, like, what are we going to play? This thing, hey, let's bring Magnus and a knight. Let's bring Mortarion and a knight. And I decided to bring, like, Abominant, and you brought along a knight Abominant as well. This thing is good at killing anything that's not a knight because it doesn't have the Reaper Chainsword or the Big Fist of Doom. That's much more of a horde killer. And it does kind of have a psychic thing now. Anything within 9 inches on a 3-up can take D3 mortal wounds. It does a thing. The army rule that it has, Harbingers of Dread, is still in effect, but you don't get any of the detachment rules, so you can't get any of the stratagems either because they're attached to a detachment. Now, the Harbingers of Dread thing is units within 12 inches of this model each time they take a battle shock test. It's a thing about battle shock, and if they're alive in turn 3, it can actually make the game, it can make an impact. But Chaos Knights and battle shock. You've got Chaos Knights.
I have got Chaos Knights.
With the battle shock thing, what do we think?
It doesn't make a massive amount of difference.
It doesn't, does it? It doesn't really work.
No, I think it's one of those. I had to talk about this with a buddy, and we said that if battle shock reduced, you couldn't advance, and your charges were reduced by 3 inches.
Yeah.
Battle shock then would make a real difference because your unit is kind of shocked and can't really do a lot. But just holding objectives and not holding objectives and not having any strats doesn't feel a big impact.
And then I made a whole video on Chaos Knights and Battle Shock as well. And if the Chaos Knights rules for Battle Shock were you automatically took Battle Shock within 12 inches and then it automatically did something if you were Battle Shocked, you didn't have to wait to turn, then maybe it would have an impact.
Yeah, the turn 3 piece, I think any of the army rules where they only kick in part way through the battle is a bit of a negative when you've got others where that army rule is for the whole game.
It's not as bad as Tau though, because they've got an army rule that also has a negative. I mean, who would collect Tau?
Crazy people.
Yeah. Anyway, this glorious knight that you see before you was gloriously painted by Den of Imagination Painting Studios. Thank you so much, Den, for painting this for me. I did the base, though, because I told them not to. They normally do the bases as well, but I did all the bases for all the end of all things, my warband, and I wanted to blend in my Chaos Knights with the rest of my warband. Mortarion is obviously my warlord. He has 3 aura abilities, and I'm telling you right now, I'm turning on the re-roll ones to wound aura at the start of the game, and I'm not changing it. For 2 reasons. 1, you don't have to remember anything else, and 2, the other ones don't really come into effect that much again. They're one of these weird... He's re-rolling ones to wound, and everyone within 6 inches of him, re-rolling ones to wound, and he's a lot cheaper, like 100 points cheaper than Magnus or some stuff, so... He's going to be flying forward all over the place. 4 units of 7 Plague Marines and a unit of 10. We'll get onto them. But in all the units of the Plague Marines, there are 2 heavy bubotic weapons, 1 on the champion, 1 in the thing. There's 2 plasma guns, 1 on the champion, 1 in the unit. There is a blight launcher, and all the rest have got the bubotic stuff. And I like Plague Marines now. They can definitely do a lot of work, particularly when you have a unit of 10 with a foul blight spawn jumping inside of a rhino, because a foul blight spawn gives them fight first. And at that point, I suddenly remembered I didn't even talk about the army rule. Death Guard have contagions. It's 3 inches, 6 inches, then 9 inches from turn 3 onwards. And the thing that I'm picking, you can pick 1 or 2 of them, is you get -1 toughness when you're within contagions. And the one I really like to run is also -1 to armor saves when you're in contagion range as well. It just feels like this plague rolling over you, which is really good for Plague Marines just firing bolt guns, for example, at, say, 1,000 Suns, because if you're in contagion range, I'll be hitting on 3s. Bolt guns are only strength 4, but your toughness goes down, so they're wounding on 3s, and suddenly you've got a 4-up save instead of a 3-up save. Just weight of fire with Death Guard actually works these days, and they're not too shabby in close combat as well. And they've got a lot of lethal hits. Their plague knives and their bolt guns are all lethal, so on 6s to hit, they auto wound. So yeah, if you're in contagion range, -1 toughness and -1 to your armor save. Helping increase the contagion range is a little Hellbrute, and I've given him the auto cannon because it's 48-inch range, and if you get shot at by a Death Guard Hellbrute and you get hit by him, then the unit that's hit is considered to be in contagion range. So you can shoot at something across the battlefield in the backfield, for example, and then suddenly that thing is -1 toughness, -1 armor save, and then drop a load of mortars on them from the 2 crawlers over here. The crawlers, the big blast things on top, can fire 48 inches, and they can fire indirect as well, with 2 entropy cannons and the stubber slugger things in them. We've got 2 crawlers following around with the haulers when they shoot at monsters or vehicles. I think they get +1 to wound. I think that's what it is. And what it really is, though, is 2 individual units of these pushing forward, with the 3 drones with the plague spitters pushing forward. There's better version. No, there's not. These are the best versions. I'll tell you why they're the best versions. Because you want them up in amongst the infantry. You want them... They've got anti-infantry 2+ on those spitters. So they're hitting and they're wounding, or hitting automatically, wounding on 2s, get into close combat, get your contagions in there, reducing toughness and reducing armor, and they can fall back, shoot and charge. And their toughness 9 with 10 wounds and a 5-up invulnerable save, so them pushing forward along with your crawlers pushing forward, along with all the Plague Marines pushing forward, means you're getting that sweet, sweet plague rolling out across the battle grid as soon as possible. One of the ways to make your Plague Burst crawlers better is to bring along a Lord of Virulence, because if a Lord of Virulence can see the target that the blast things are hitting, then you get +1 to hit, and you ignore ballistic skill modifiers and things like that. You can be hitting on 2s and things, particularly with Mortarion nearby. So I haven't brought along a Lord of Virulence, I brought along a Lord of Contagion instead, because this army isn't about dropping stuff indirectly and 3 crawlers. It's a nice thing to have, but the Virulence guy, he joined some Blightlord Terminators, and the Lord of Contagion is much better with some Blightlord Terminators, because that means they just re-roll hits in close combat all the time. Doesn't matter if you charge or a charge, they're just re-rolling hit rolls, and it makes Blightlord Terminators so much better. And they only move 4 inches. So they're not going to be deep striking in. They're going to start off on the battlefield as one big block and just chonking forward, chonking forward, chonking forward. And if they touch you in close combat, then they're going to be real hits. And because I had some points left over, I gave my Lord of Contagion a enhancement, and it's called Shamble Rot, which means whenever you charge this unit, it's -2 to charge them. So they're going to be quite pokey, and maybe Magnus will fail a charge against them or something like that. Yeah, so that is my army. I've got some long-range Dakar in the backfield, and some anti-tank with these things, and Mortarian's pretty anti-tank, and of course the Hellbrute as well. I gave him the hammer. It's 4s to hit with that hammer instead of 3s with a Hellbrute fist, but look, it's magnetized, and the hammer, he just looks so cool with a hammer. Also tank shock with the Hellbrute with that hammer at strength 14 is also quite scary as well. So those are my anti-tank stuff. Everything else is pretty much anti-infantry, anti-elite, a slow, remorseless tide that chonks its way forward and drowns the battlefield in plague. Badger King.
Yes.
I like to think like there's some Imperial citizens locked up in these things with the bunker lines, and you can see the candles on the inside and you can hear them praying, and we're both here for their souls.
Yeah, I'm here to do some rituals. You'll come to make them smelly and melt into puddles of goo.
Yeah, they're like, these are my slaves. No, they're my slaves. No, they're my slaves.
I'm doing special spells with it.
Well, you can take your special spells and shove them down a drain. That was smelly. I don't know. I nearly said something rude like bottom, you see. So you got bang on 3,000 points.
I did.
So you get your +1 internet point.
Hurrah.
I love,
medals,
you've got
trophy.
narrative to this as well, because look, different cabals from different war bands coming together. We've got some Black Legion guys, we've got some Prosperines, we've got some, it's good, different colours and stuff.
I loved in the Araman books, there's a chapter where he's trying to fix the ritual, and he brings together a load of war bands, and the Black Legion Iskandar sorcerer, he comes in and they've got some of his legionnaires and a few. So I just wanted to, when I was doing this as a hobby apocalypse, I'm like, I want it to be a bunch of bands and just make it different and enjoy the painting experience.
And when Magnus is here, of course, they'll all regroup and come together. But you have got some narrative because you've got your demon prince, and they're called what now?
It's Bestolt the Deceiver. So he basically was, to get demonhood, he turned a night world to Tzeentch, and there's the leader of the house that basically got turned to Tzeentch, hence he's also blue as well.
Okay. And this is the Band of Deceivers?
Band of the Deceiver.
It's almost like Band of Brothers, but Tzeentchy.
Yes.
And one more shout out before we all go through the whole thing. Over here you've got some Zangors on discs.
Yes.
And there's a character. What's the name of the character?
He's called Mittens. Mittens
is riding this thing on it, and he's got a cat.
He's got the cat.
And what's the cat called?
The cat's called George.
And you caught that cat.
I caught that cat at March of Winters.
Well, congratulations for winning the cat catcher. It's gorgeous. That's some of the cats. We did a video for members as well where I ran the cat catcher mission as well. But congratulations on getting yourself a cat.
Rules on the Discord is fantastic to play.
Yes, custom narrative missions. If you are in the Discord, check out the section which shows you where those rules are. You played it a few times.
Yeah, I played at home, and that cat is actually blue tacked on, so I can take him off and play other games with it. A couple of friends of mine that couldn't make it to the event. It's just such good fun. It's random every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just such good fun.
I think it was more luck than judgment that I ended up coming up with such a good fun mission. But yeah, right. Talk us through what we've got and the things. Right, now, actually starting off with the crystals, because Thousand Suns do their army rules and things.
Yes, so they are the Cabal of Sorcerers.
Yes.
So every battle round for the sorcerers on the field, they have a Cabal of Sorcerers rating. So they generate points, and those points
make prizes.
Psychic power prizes. Because obviously the psychic phase is gone.
Yes.
In 10th edition.
Yes.
So the way the narrative and it's been fixed for Thousand Suns is you can cast a number of Cabal rituals,
yes,
which is like psychic powers that cost a certain number of points.
Yes.
So one is 2 points, and you can reroll a save in a phase for a character. If you spend the big 9 points, you can basically turn off someone's saves. Not the invuns, but their general save.
Yeah, so it's 9 Cabal points, point at a unit, turn off their armor saves, boom, done.
Yes.
Absolutely glorious. Do you know how many Cabal points are in all of this?
I believe it's 15. I need
15?
to recount it before we start.
And then you've got 2 Hellbrutes. These are 2, that's a Hellbrute as well.
Yes.
Forge World Asarian thing.
Yeah.
What happens within 9 inches of Hellbrutes in a Thousand Suns list?
So they give 1 Cabal point back, refund a Cabal point for every ritual you spend. So if it's a 2,
9.
Yeah. So if I use 9 points, I get it for 8. If I use the 2, I just get it for 1. So
but is it in range of units?
So the sorcerer has to be in the unit and in 9 inches of.
Yeah. So if this particular unit of rubrics, thank you, uses some Cabal points and they're in range of one of these, they get a Cabal point back.
Yeah.
So that's why we've got 2 Hellbrutes in there. I like the fact that all the Hellbrutes and all the Chaos Forces do something different.
Yeah.
Like each of them does a thing which is a little bit different from the other thing, and that's pretty cool actually, because there's only one rule. Like the World Eaters one, if you fight them or shoot them, they'll hit you back. The Chaos Space Marines one is that it increases the Dark Pack thing, and my one is it puts you in contagion range. So it's a nice little thing. It makes all the different looking Hellbrutes actually feel different as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plays nicely.
Nice. Do you want to talk us through what you got then?
Yeah, so Warlord is Magnus the Red.
Magnus.
So he's very much a beat stick. He's quite expensive. He's about 440 odd points compared to Mortarion.
Yes.
He has 2 ranged psychic attacks. He's the Gaze of Magnus, which is a 3D free. So sometimes the gaze is very angry. Sometimes the gaze is a little bit kind of like come hither.
Yeah.
But it does more devastating wounds on it, so quite powerful. And then he's got a second one, which is Fast on Zinch, which is more anti-horde, not quite so much AP, not quite so much damage, but more dice, more to roll.
And he's faster than Mortarion, and he's better in close combat than Mortarion, and he's got one of 3 things that he can pick just like any other Primarch character, and one of them is really good.
Yeah, the one that, again, like you do with Mortarion, the other one, ones you wouldn't use, but this one, he reduces all damage by 1.
Which is my old Death Guard thing.
Yeah, he's basically got Death Guard mode.
Yeah, I mean, Mortarion's got a Feel No Pain. Do you ever Feel No Pain?
No, just a 4-up in one.
I don't reduce damage anymore.
No.
But yeah, so he's become Death. See, the thing is, in the previous edition, Mortarion was better than him in close combat and had the -1 damage. Now he's stronger in close combat and has the minus. I'm not mad with it because it's Zinchy weird stuff. And -1 damage across the entire army for Death Guard was a bit feels bad. Not a bit feels bad, it was very feels bad.
He also has a aura which he gives. It's on model makes a psychic attack within 6 inches, I think it is, add 1 to the wound roll. So if you've got psychers around him, he's a multiplier as well, which is quite nice.
And he brought along his best friend, Araman.
Araman, Ari the Man. So he's on a disc purely because I want to get the points, and that's get me to the 3,000 points.
Yep.
He's got mid-range psychic attack, and he's all right in combat. He has precision, which means he can snipe some characters, which is pretty handy. His power, though, is if he attaches to a unit, they are re-rolling wounds. And he also, his psychic ability for the Cabal Sorcerers that he's got, he can use one of those rituals for free in the battle.
Once per battle, 1 psychic ritual, free, no Cabal points.
Exactly. So the 9-pointer to strip your invuln off, strip your save off, I can use that for free in one of the battle rounds.
Edit. Rubikai reroll wound rolls of 1. When Araman joins them, they add 1 to the wound roll instead. It's wounds and wounds and wounds. And then when the enemy is completely in range of an objective marker, you reroll all wounds.
Yes.
So with Araman shooting at some dudes in range of an objective marker, you're going to be adding 1 to wound, re-rolling all wounds. It's a nice little stacky thing. And Araman is one of the best written characters in 40k. If you play Thousand Suns, you're playing with Araman.
Yeah.
He's such a G. He was G back in 30k. He's a G now. Love him. Who's this fella next to him?
That's just an exalted sorcerer. Has no name. See how he gets on today. Maybe we'll give him a name at the end of it.
I love it when they own themselves a name.
He's going to be attaching to the red rubrics behind him.
Yes.
So rubric marines have a 5-up invuln.
Yes.
He makes it a 4-up invuln.
Nice.
He also can, at the start of my command phase, if there's dead rubrics in my squad,
yes,
I can roll a d6. On a 1, I take d3 mortal wounds.
Brilliant.
2 to 5, I can put 1 model back in. On a 6, I put 2 models back in.
2 models back in. So it makes him more chunky, gives him a better invulnerable save and puts models back in.
Yeah.
So long as he doesn't blow his own brains out doing the psychic powers.
Well, hopefully so, yes.
Okay.
The whole point of that squad is to kind of get on a middle objective and just soak up fire and keep respawning.
Yeah. So he's going to be joining one. Ahriman is going to be joining another.
Yes.
Then you got 2 Black Legion units over here. 3 flamers in each, I can see.
Yeah, 3 flamers and an assault cannon and a sorcerer in there. They're my kind of don't charge on an objective, I'm going to barbecue you,
I like
harassing around the edges.
Okay. And I brought along 10 Terminators. You've only got 5.
I brought 5 because I'm not greedy. And also I didn't have the points. They're very expensive in the Thousand Suns list.
Yeah.
But as long as you've got the sorcerer still alive, which is the guy on the left at the back with his stave, if your strength of your guns exceeds my toughness, I reduce the damage by 1.
The wounds by 1, wound roll by 1, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So they can be harder to wound with higher strength weapons. And even though you got 5 of them, you have brought along a Demon Prince. I did actually genuinely think about bringing along 5 Terminators and a Demon Prince. And the reason why I didn't is because in my last Death Guard battle report, I had a Demon Prince. I brought Fluffy along. So I thought, I'm not going to do Demon Prince again. I'll change it up. Because then it would look like I'm really copying your homework with the same the same thing. It turns out that you got less models than me.
Yeah, they seem to be a bit more expensive than the Death Guard.
They do. But quantity over quality, maybe?
I'd like to think so. Again, with the psychic rituals that we can do, and I mean, rubrics are just a great, re-rolling on your objective, picking them back up.
They can be tricksy.
Yeah, exactly that.
Space Wizards from Space can be tricksy, but Magnus did plenty wrong.
Well, you say that. I'm of the opinion that Magnus basically went to the Emperor and went, look, Horus and the boys are kicking the ball at the greenhouse, and he got told off for it, and then got sent to his room, and then they let the dog in there that ripped it all up. Whereas Mortarion, he got a really bad cold, and then decided he was not going to wash anymore, and he was going to also kick in the greenhouse and just be generally nasty. So I think,
Magnus flew through the warp and tried to break through the psychic shielding of the throne room. And he didn't stop to think for a minute. 1 minute, there's massive psychic shielding around this throne room. The Emperor clearly did it, or someone. No. Instead, that little voice in the warp down there that's telling me, I'll give you the power to break through if you submit. Would you want to? And he went, yeah. He was trying to be a good son, and he got told off for it, and he got his wrist slapped. Hubris. He's trying to warn the Emperor. He assumed that he knew something that the Emperor did not. Whereas Mortarion just hasn't showered for a few thousand years. That's all. He forgot
the Lemsep, couldn't deal with the cold, and decided to wreck the universe.
Shall we go on to deployment?
I think so.
So we're deployed for this 3,000 point game of chaos on chaos action. I started putting up my big stompy things down this end. So Badgerkin started putting up his big stompy things down this end as well. So Mortarion and Magnus are looking at each other across the battle grid, as well as the 2 knights. Should mention there was another enhancement on the sorcerer here. He's got the once per battle Zinchi redeploy thing. So long as he's not in engagement range, you can pick him up and his unit, redeploy them anywhere on the battlefield, which is quite nice. And then the Demon Prince has got one as well. He gives out an extra Cabal point. Yeah, he gives an extra Cabal point. So there's the sorcerer and the thing and the Demon Prince. And facing them, basically on both flanks, I put down Rhino Drone Crawler. This is the unit of 7 down this end, and up here with I tell a lie. I put the unit of 10 down this end because at this end I've got a big knight and Mortarion, so I put the 7 up this end, and then I put 2 units of 7 of my Plague Marines in strategic reserve because we are playing from the Leviathan mission deck, so there might be engaging on fronts or things, secondaries that those units could do when they get on and be sneaky. In the middle of the battle grid, Death Guard have a sticky objective, so I don't really need to hold on to this one. I could just move forward. But there are the Terminators, there's the Hellbrute, there's the drone number 3, and down this end you put your Land Raider over here pretty early on. So I put on my 2 big anti-tank guns down this side as well. And this is where Ahriman is, and one of the Hellbrutes, and unit of 10 in that one as well, right? In both of the Rhinos.
No, so unit just 5.
5 in that one.
Flamers in that. Well, the Flamer Black Legion in that one.
Yes.
And then there's 10 and the Sorcerer in this Rhino over the back end here.
Okay. Right, so 10 Rubikai and 1 Rhino, 10 Rubikai in the Land Raider.
Yeah.
And you put your Terminators on the battle grid. And the Zangors are deep striking in.
Yes.
So you've got some reserve shenanigans. I've got some reserve shenanigans. Plus you've got some redeployment shenanigans all over the place. Do you want first turn? I don't know if I want first turn.
It's one of those, I don't get my Cabal points until it's my command phase.
Right.
So if I go first, at least I can get my Cabal points and I've got some shenanigans I can use.
I suppose so.
But do I really want to have to come forward and get into contagion range? Not thank you. So I don't know.
Let's find out what Zinch says. Yeah. After you, sir.
Thank you very much.
That's a 3. That's a 3. Zinch hasn't made up his mind
yet.
Here we go. Right. That's a 2.
That's a 2. That's not good.
That's a 5. It's Death Guard, turn 1. No command points for the 1,000 Suns yet, because the Death Guard are going first. We won't get a CP, and these orders are good. Secure no man's land and a tempting target. Here we are after the movement phase. For the end of all things, you nominated this one as the tempting target to get closer towards all the las cannons and all the pain down here. And I've managed to take the tempting target, plus any 2 objectives in no man's land for secure no man's land. So racking up the secondaries there. What I have done, though, is normally I hold back a little bit to wait for you to come to me so I can jump on you, but I need to spread the contagions up as quickly as possible. So I kind of want you to jump on the front line. So then the second, there's a plan. There's a plan. I'm not saying that it's so cunning that you could put a tail on it and call it a fox, but there is a plan. For example, the Volkite Combustor on the big nasty knight is a 3 damage weapon. It's only AP dash, but Terminators have 3 wounds, so I feel like I should pick on them with them. Part of the plan as well was keeping Mortarin a little bit back. Didn't jump him all the way forward, because then it just gives you a perfect turn 1 charge. I did charge up with the Blightlord Terminators, because honestly, it's no secret. I want you to pour as much firepower and try and take them out. You can remove an entire unit of Blightlord Terminators in a turn, but it takes a lot, which means the rest of the army isn't getting picked on. That's exactly what they're there for. And I'm keeping, even though Plague Marines, I mentioned it earlier, have sticky objectives, I'm keeping these back on this objectives because you do have some redeployment shenanigans. Need to hold on to my home field stuff. I might even keep the Hellbrute kind of in this general area as protection as well. But in the shooting phase, we've only got a couple of things that can shoot, and we're going to start off with this Hellbrute. See, I was looking at the tanks to try and get your Land Raider, but the entropy cannons are not in range of your Land Raider. The one thing that I can hit with the front crawler, though, is the Rhino, and it's full of dudes. So let's crack it open. To help crack it open, we're going to fire the Hellbrute in at it. The twin autocannon hits on 3. Oh, a miss. And I wanted it to hit, because if you get hit by something, then you would be in contagion range. No, I'm not spending a command point and trying to crack open a Rhino, particularly when there's 2 entropy cannons looking at it as well.
Okay.
Here's the entropy cannons. One of them hits at strength 10. It wounds on 8. Not that. The mortar was going into the same target because I thought it'd be weakened by now. Now the mortar probably won't do anything, but it has. D6 plus 3 shots. We're rolling low at the start of this game. Zinch is already in effect here. 3s to hit, I can see, and 5s to wound, nothing. When I said there was a plan, we might not be going to plan. So the mortar on the second tank, there's no point in raining fire into the Rhino. I haven't even tickled it yet. It's a 2 damage gun. Let's put it on these Rubikai here. D6 plus 3 shots. Or at least it's 1 better. It's blast. I get another 1. 3s to hit. 6s are lethal. And 2s to wound at strength 8. 3 wounds minus 1, but plus 1 you're in the crater. 3 up saves.
3 up saves.
Yeah. And 2 die. And because I've got such a mid-range army, I've only got 1 more gun. I did make sure that this Mephitic Blight Hauler could move around and get in range with its multi-melters into the Land Raider. 3s to hit. No lethal on the multi-melter, but they both hit. Now, strength 9, but plus 1 to wound because you're a vehicle. So 4s to wound. Oh, we wound. Lots of cover in the way. 2 5-up saves. And you make them both. Then the missile launcher streaks out, slams into the hull and wounds, and this time it'll be a 3-up save because of the cover. And you make that as well. And when I said that, that was the very last gun of the game. Thanks for reminding me. I got the Volkai Combustor on the Night Abominant, which is going to come in to the Terminators. Let's tickle some Terminators. 3s to hit. Drop dice don't count. What are you doing?
Get them ready to save.
You don't need that many. I missed so many. Strength 12. It would be 2s to wound, but -1 to wound because you're Zinchi thing.
There, yeah.
3s to wound. 6s are devastate. Oh, I did wounds. It's AP dash, so a 2-up save. You make the save. That is the end of my shooting. Did I do anything? I killed 2 Rubikai.
2 Rubikai now very squished.
I killed 2 Rubikai. That's the end of my shooting phase. Nothing is in charge range. That was one of the worst shooting phases I've ever had. However, I do get 10 points on the secondaries. I'm scoring many of the primary objectives, and I've pushed up a whole lot of shizzle right in front of Magnus and the Thousand Suns. Let's see how they respond in turn 1. In turn 1, the Thousand Suns start off with 9 Cabal points because you only get Cabal points for every unit that's deployed on the battlefield, and those in reserve or in transports definitely don't count. So 9, and they copy in the homework. They need the tempting target, the objective that I'll nominate, and deploy Teleport Homer either in the centre of the battle grid or in my deployment zone. After the Thousand Suns movement phase, no deploying of the teleporter of the homers, but I did make the objective right in the middle of the battle grid, the tempting target. So you advanced the Demon Prince round to get it, and that will be 5 points. And the reason why I made that one is because right over here is 10 Blight Lord Terminators, which are probably going to jump on your Demon Prince.
Give him a cuddle.
I'm aware that there's other things right behind that will jump on the Terminators, that will jump on your Demon Prince, but I trust my Blight Lord Terminators to be able to tank it. That's what they're here to do. Over here, your Hellbrute is... There's some long bomb charges, and you haven't got the other 10 unit or 10 Rubikai with Araman outside of the Land Raider yet. They're staying back for now, because there's a lot of shots here, along with a Hellbrute. Looking down at all this mess over here, you're in a target-rich environment. There's tanks, there's rhinos, there's drones, oh my. And you disembarked from this after it moved, and you're OCing me off of that thing. So at least you're stopping me getting 5 points on the primary. Right now, I'm only on 5-10 on the primary. So aggressive. This side is going to get very messy very quickly, which we like, which is good. Around here, both Magnus and your knight are coming this way round the building towards my knight, and there are 7 guys inside this rhino and a drone there. That other rhino's got 10 dudes inside down the other end. But we're going to start the shooting phase down this flank with the Hellbrute aiming at the crawler. 2 shots with the last cannon.
No, it's only one shot. It's twin linked, so
yes.
Be hitting you on a 3. That's 5, that'll do.
Okay.
Strength 12.
Wounds on a 3.
That does not wound.
Moving along, the Land Raiders picking on this hauler down here, putting everything into it. So I'm spending a CP on Cloud of Flies, so it's -1 to hit. 4s with the las cannons then.
4 shots.
And
that'll do.
You hit 3 times anyway. And these are wound on 3s. And you wound twice. 2 5+ invulnerable saves. I make them both. Then we fire the remaining guns from the Land Raider, bolters, havoc launchers, everything into the Plague Burst Crawler, and you've taken 1 wound off of it. Well, it's a start. Next up, the Hellbrute wants to try and crack open the Rhino.
Indeed.
So the guys that got outside of your Rhino can kebab all the people inside, and I'm spending another CP, this time on Smokescreen. So this is also -1 to hit. 2 multi-motors on 4s.
On 4s.
And you both hit anyway. That's some good head right there. Your wound on 4s. 1 wound. Command point in that. I love it. Both of them wound. The Rhino wouldn't normally get a save, but with Smokescreen I need 6s. I don't get any 6s, and that is 2d6 damage, 10 wounds to get through. Can you one-shot it? Oh, that's a 7, nearly. It's on a 3 wounds remaining. The combi weapon from the Rhino right in front slammed into my Rhino. No more wounds. So we're going over to the Soul Reaper cannon, which wants to crack it open, coming into my Rhino. 6 shots.
Hit on 4s.
To hit.
That's not
That's
bad.
50-50. Strength 6, wounds on 5s, but you're re-rolling 1s to wound.
And 6s will be devastating.
Nice.
And increase the AP by 1 because there's an icon of flame in that unit.
So what you can do is, well, you got, oh yeah, that's 2. That's 2. So -2 becomes -1 because of smoke. and I take 2 more wounds.
It's only -1.
Is it only -1? It's all 1 wound remaining. 2 wounds remaining then. It's okay. It's okay. We're okay. And I don't think there's anything down here that can reach out and touch that rhino. You wanted it open so this unit could slap. Yeah. So do they actually want to fire at a rhino, or do they want to fire at another choice target instead? So what are you doing with the Rubikai then?
Right. This needs to die.
Right.
Don't like it. It smells. It needs to be medicated. So we're going to put the assault cannon and the flamers and his psychic smash into
everything.
Kill it.
Into the rhino.
Kill it with fire.
So the Plague Marines with the Foul Blightspawn disembark here. Now, I know I could have disembarked on the objective and taken the objective back off of you.
You could have, yes.
But there's a nasty Hellbrute right there.
He's going to come wailing in with his fists and such.
And then you would definitely pick them and go smashing in there. And Plague Marines don't have a rule to be able to fall back, shoot and charge or anything. I'd just have to fall back and lose all their potential shooting. And I got a lot of points already anyway. So I'm happy with this, and I just remembered by looking across the table, I'm still on 510 on the primaries. So the fact that it took all of your firepower just to wreck that rhino, I'm happy with that. That's the shooting phase for this side of the battle grid. We're going to move down to the other side of the battle grid. And we're going to start here with some hot Terminator on Terminator action. Soul Reaper Cannon.
Hitting on freeze.
Pretty good shooting techs. And wounding
on an objective.
I'm not on an objective, so you're wounding on 4s, because strength 6 versus toughness 6, but reroll the 1.
No, that's...
Oh yeah, that's just for Rubicon, not for Terminators. Yeah. Here's the Hellfire is on missile rack.
So two shots hit on freeze.
Both hit. 3s to wound. Snake eyes. What about a chunk of combi bolters then? You've got a wound at some point. 3s to hit. 5s to wound. Good catch. 2 wounds. 2 up saves. You don't wound. Finally, there's a Warp Smite, and this is the lethal hits. You've done your Magnus thing, your Thousand Suns thing.
Yes, so you can select psychic weapons or psychic attacks to have lethal, sustained, or devastating wounds.
At the start of your turn, and you pick lethal.
Yes.
Okay, so let's hit me with your Warp Smite, baby.
On freeze.
Look at that. They auto wound. 5 on the other guy. They all wound.
And that's a devastating wound.
Is it well. AP? Well, how much damage?
1.
Just 1 damage.
Minus 3.
And these are -3. So 2 4-up invulnerable saves. And that is a total of 2 damage, right?
Yes.
Next to the Terminators, the Rhino also fired into the Blight Lord Terminators, causing no more wounds. So one of them is down to a 1 wound remaining. You haven't cracked that nut yet. Just tickle them. Then we move along to Magnus, who's putting everything into this Rhino over here. Start off with Gaze of Magnus.
3d3. That's not a very angry gaze.
No.
Hits on 2s.
Yes. Everything hits at least. What's the strength?
Strength 9.
Toughness 9, but +1 to wound because Magnus.
So it's 4s.
So 3s actually.
3, sorry.
Yes.
So that 6 is a devastating wounds.
Okay, how much damage?
3.
3, and it's AP -2?
AP -2 on
so
the
it's
one.
-1 because of the trees, so I need a 4. I don't get a 4, that's 6 wounds off. It's got 4 remaining. Then D6 +3 shots for Zinch's Firestorm.
Shots hitting on 2s again.
5 of them hit. 1 is lethal, the rest will wound on 4s. Nice. Are these devastating?
No.
4 3-up saves. I need to make 2 of these to keep the Rhino alive. And I make 1 of them. So, 3 of them. 3 of them, words, it's alive on 2 wounds remaining. So you didn't manage to crack open the Rhino, so we moved across to the Knight, and you've switched targets. You were thinking about laying firepower down into the unit that got out of the Rhino, but instead just tickled the stubber in, and the Volkite is coming across into the Terminators. I didn't manage to kill any of yours. Let's see if you can kill any of mine. On 3s. Wounds on 2s, 6s are devastating and will kill 1. You do kill 1.
Yay.
And then 3 2-up saves. You kill 1. And that's the end of the shooting phase. And both of our shooting phases were, quite frankly, awful. You killed a Terminator and a Rhino. Hurt a second Rhino. There are some potential charges lined up, however. The Hellbrute's trying to charge this drone here. You need an 8. And that's a 5. Come on, point. You got 1 left? No. Do you want to charge with the Rubikai or tank shot with the Rhino over here or anything?
Well, they got out of the Rhino, so they can't.
Oh yeah,
charge.
they can't, can
they? Considering it, but no, I want to keep that command point in my pocket still.
Okay. And you haven't spent any of your command points either because they roll round now. So my turn, you've still got your 9.
Indeed.
Okay. And at the end of 1,000 Suns, turn 1, you pick up 5 points for the tempting target. So it's 10 points to 5 at the end of turn 1. I'm going to get another 10 points for being on these 2 primary objectives here. So currently the Death Guard are in the lead as we go on to turn 2. Mortarion wants to storm a hostile objective that the 1,000 Suns control and deploy a teleport homer somewhere in the 1,000 Suns backlines. Here we are after the movement phase. Now there's been some tactically repositioning with Mortarion and my knight to stay away from your Magnus and your knight. Okay? Yes. There's proper tactics on this, honest.
Not running away.
We're not running. So what it is the best thing to kill each other's knights, quite frankly, is each other's Primarchs. If our knights had chain fists and things, we would go in it. We'd go ham against each other, but we don't. We have these big flail things which are good at killing elites and everything that's not a knight. So I don't want them just to bang against each other because it would be boring. And it wouldn't make a great battle report and it would be boring. I want to see explosions. I want to see... So I'm keeping him back for now. Plus, tactics is the thing. I've got storm a hostile objective, and in order to do that, I need to kill your Demon Prince. Kill your Demon Prince with 9 Blightlord Terminators now, and then consolidate onto that objective. In order, I've got reroll all hits. And I move Magnus over there because he gives them reroll wound rolls of 1. And I still don't think that's enough. So the idea of the knight is he throws down some firepower into him, softens him up, nice for the kill. And that is storm a hostile objective. How'd you like them apples?
Tasty.
They're good, aren't they? Slightly rotten though. The Rhino recovered a wound, done a handbrake turn, span round, the unit got out and they're deploying a teleport homer, looking to their right and looking to the left, thinking, Mortarion, why did you order us to do this? We're going to be in a world of pain. But at least they've, it's going to be for an extra 5 points. It's points make prizes. Mortarion tells them to do that. They're not going to argue. So that's this flank over here. Round the other side. I've moved my crawlers round. The scariest thing on the table at the moment, because Araman is still inside his land radar, is that Hellbrute. So I've moved them round along with the crawler. We're going to throw everything into your Hellbrute and not charge him with my crawler if he's still alive. Bit of move blocking there. There's an objective down there. And then I didn't move any of this stuff because you've got a unit with a bunch of flamers.
Yes.
So if I move them, you'll overwatch. And when I go charging into your unit with the flamers, I'll go in with a drone first because you're wounding them on 6s. This way, I feel like I can get rid of that unit, hurt the Hellbrute, kill the Demon Prince, maximize some of my points, and then the counterpunch from the 1,000 Suns should be quite terrifying. Hopefully, we'll see. Let's go on to the shooting phase. Before we shoot, you're doing a thing. Weaver of Fates for 2 Cabal points on Magnus, 2 Cabal points.
That gives him an 18-inch aura where I can reroll a failed save.
Basically a free CP reroll on the save somewhere down there. Right, let's start off with this crawler firing at the Hellbrute 3s to hit. One of them hits, and it would normally be 4s to wound, but 3s to wound because crawler. And I don't wound. Here's the missile launcher, and that misses. Oh dear. Right, tank number 1. Entropy cannons coming into Hellbrute. The mortar is going to come up and over and lay waste down to your unit in the backfield over there. I don't actually have line of sight on this, and I only have 4 shots. It will be 4s to hit because there is no line of sight, and 3 of them do hit. 2s to wound. They do all wound. Now that would be -2, but becomes -1, and you're in cover, so 3 up save. 3 up saves. And you lose 2 of them anyway. The slugger bounced off the Hellbrute, didn't do anything, and here's the entropy cannons into the Hellbrute, and 1 of them hits. Strength 10, wounds. AP -3 becomes AP -4, because you're in contagion range, so you need a 6. Good catch. And that's really cocked. And that's a failed save. So D6 +1 damage, for only 3 damage. I'm not going to CP reroll it, because I got tank number 2, rinsing and repeating. I did the mortar off camera because I was certain that he was dead, and guess what happened?
He's not dead.
He's not dead. He made your saves. Here's the entropy cannons into Mr. Hellbrute. Both of them hit. One of them wounds. I'm not going to CP that. I might CP reroll the damage. A 6-up save, sir. You make your 6-up save. So he's still alive. That's a problem. Okay, do I put the flamey thing in? No. We need to shoot your shooty unit. Let's put 2d6 plague sprayers auto-hitting into the Rubikai right in front for only 4 auto-hits. But these are anti-infantry 2-up. I only wound twice. 5-up saves because of modifiers. And that is 1 damage each. One is dead, so the big unit or 10 Plague Marines will fire everything into them. Starting off with the Plague Sprayer from the Foul Blight Spawn, and that is 3 auto hits at strength 7, but you're in contagion range, you see. So this wounds on 2s. -2 becomes -3, so 6-up saves. Each doing 2 damage. Another one bites the dust. Overcooking my plasma, not because I want to, but because whenever you pull the trigger on the guard of a plague gun thing, it's just sticky. It sticks down.
It's covered in snot, babe.
Yeah, it's not nice. 3s to hit with the plasma. This will be 2s to wound with the plasma, and AP -4 because 3 + 1. It's you get 5 up invulnerable saves though, right?
Yeah.
So 3 5+ invulnerable saves on Rubikai, and a kill only 1, and then. This is hazardous on the sergeant and on the other guy. We're okay. They managed to unjam the trigger guard. Here's the Blight launcher. Both of them hit. These will wound on 2s as well because of contagion and stuff. One of them wounds. That's another 5-up save. Nope. And another one bites the dust. And then we'll unload all the plague bolt guns. 3s to hit. 6s are lethal. 3 wounds already, 3s to wound because of contagions, and these are all, well, AP dash, but AP -1 because of contagions. 8 4s, here we go. No, he gets cut down. So I didn't manage to kill the Hellbrute, but I have removed my first unit of Rubikai. Hellbrute shot out at a vehicle, bounced off the side of a vehicle. That's all the shots from this side of the battle grid. We're moving on to the other side of the battle grid. I need to storm that hostile objective. So we're going to start off by softening up the Demon Prince with the Knight Abominant. The Volkite Combustor hits on 3s and wounds on 3s. 6s are devastating, no 6s. He has a 2-up save. That's 6 damage. See, softening them up beautifully. Unless you want to do that reroll thing, you've got a free reroll, you're in range of the thing.
I'm saving it for Magnus, I think.
Yeah.
I've got some multi-melters there, so no, we'll take the 6.
I think there's a lot of firepower about to hit that guy as well. 1 minute. He's on 4 wounds.
Yes.
You know when I said a lot of firepower was going to hit him?
Yes.
I'm not shooting him. I'm charging him. Instead, the firepower from my Blight Lord Terminators is going into your Scarab. I'm spending a CP on Ferric Blight to get my AP up because you're not in contagion range with these guys at the moment. So those auto wound. The rest will wound on 5s. These are the bolt guns. 5 3-up saves with the bolt guns. There's 2 more, sir.
Can't count.
You're good. Launchers of the Blight variety. 3 hits. 3s to wound. Nothing. So Mortarion is going to try and shoot him with the lantern. On a 2. I rolled a 1. And I'm going to Rotwind Psychic Power you for D6 plus 3 attacks. For 4 attacks. My dice roll in. What +1 for blast though? 2s to hit. It's strength 7, but instead of wounding on 3s, it's going to wound on 4s because of your thing. I do 3 wounds. That one is devastating, so I do a wound there. And the other one's 4-up saves, 2 4-up saves. You're good. You only take 1 wound from Mortarion. A little tickle. That's it for round here. This unit are deploying a teleport homer, and then I've got a drone and a crawler firing everything at Magnus. I need to start softening them up. Here's the 2d6 auto hits from the drone for 9 auto hits. I'm going to need 5s to wound Magnus, the red one. 2, 3, 4. That's not bad. 4 4-up saves. I tickle him twice. Brilliant. Now let's find a Plague Burst crawler. No, Mephitic Blight Hauler straight into him. Multi-melters. One of them hits. This is going to need a 5 to wound. It doesn't wound. Missile launcher. Misses. Okay. Magnus is on 14 wounds remaining, and that is the end of my shooting phase. The unit right next to him are deploying a teleport Homer, a better round of shooting from the Death Guard this turn, but there are still plenty of 1,000 Sun units left on the battle grid. However, we want to remove one right now as we go into the charge phase and send these Blightlord Terminators into that Winged Demon Prince. And I charge 4 inches, and that is enough, just. The Blightlord Terminators make it here. There's going to be a couple that won't be able to fight when we pile in. Over on this side, yes, I fired the bolter on the Rhino, didn't do any damage, and I'm not going to tank shock in or anything with the Rhino, because then you'll just heroically intervene and tag the Plague Marines who are deploying a teleport Homer and kill them. So he's staying all the way down here. I could send this Crawler into your Dreadnought. Yeah, go on then. I mean, I'm within 2. Let's put it in that way. And I don't want to charge any of this. I definitely don't want to charge the drone off the objective because I'm scoring it right now. And I don't want to charge this lot forward because then I just get shot at and countercharged. I know the Foul Blight Spawn has fight firsts, but putting everything that I've got there in rapid fire range, and there's another Hellbrute over there, doesn't seem like a good idea to me. So we're going to go into the fight phase. You have got the CP to interrupt, so suddenly charging that Hellbrute seems like a bad idea. But I am going to... I'm going to start here. You can play with your Hellbrute, your Demon Prince if you... No, that's silly. That is silly. I have to start with the Blightlord Terminators. Say the what now?
So I'm going to spend 2 of my cabal points again because I can do this per phase for the Weaver of Fates to give me the re-roll a save.
Nice.
And I'm using it on the Demon Prince.
Nice.
Might keep him alive.
Right, we pile in. Let's start off with my Lord of Contagion with a strike attack. He's going to be hitting on 2s, and he gets to re-roll because he's leading the unit, and that one's lethal. This is strength 8, and you're down to toughness 8. So 4s to wounds. That is 3 wounds, 3 invulnerable saves, each doing 3 damage. Do you want to make one of these? Oh no, you roll and
then re-roll.
Okay, yeah, okay. 3, 4 up and runs.
Love it.
So he's okay. So let's do Flails of Corruption, of which there are 2, and I get to re-roll all hits because a Lord of Contagion. That one's lethal. These are going to wound on 5s, re-rolling 1s because more target. There's some good head right there. These are all 4 up in buns, each doing 2 damage. Well, he's on 4 wounds remaining.
No, I can't re-roll the save. He's dead.
Well, you can do your thing, and even if you CP it, he's dead anyway.
Dead Dave.
And that's a dead Demon Prince. And that's storm a hostile objective. I can't actually, with the pile in, I managed to get on the objective already. So I'm already there, looking down at all of these guys that no doubt are going to jump on me. Now, do you want to spend 2 CP to interrupt over here? I wouldn't, because he's going to tickle you, but probably not kill your Hellbrute.
Not worth it. Keep 2 VP.
The Hauler hits on 3s, 2 hits. Strength 6. I need 5s. 1 wound. -1 becomes -2. A 4-up save. He's okay. You're still on 5 wounds remaining. This thing on his arm, that's a hammer.
Yes.
So you hit on 4s. And you hit twice. Strength really high, wounds on 3s. Both of them wound. 5 up invulnerable saves. I make 1 fail 1. How much damage is the hammer these days?
D6 + 1.
Brilliant. Okay. 10 wounds to get through. That is 4 wounds. My Hauler's on 6 wounds, and I was a bit scared about going in there. I think you fluffed it, but at least I've locked the Hellbrute up. He's going to have to shoot and fight his way through the Mephitic Blight Hauler in the Thousand Suns turn. And that is the end of Death Guard turn 2. I complete both of my secondary objectives, which gets me up to 30 points, and the Thousand Suns are only on 1 on the primaries, so long as they pass a battle shock test at the start of turn 2. Are you going to spend the VP? CP for the VP?
Yeah, I need to get that 5.
Okay, so that will make it 30 points to Death Guard and 10 points to the Thousand Suns as we go into Thousand Suns, turn 2. Magnus senses that the momentum is with the Death Guard, so he orders the Thousand Suns to defend their stronghold and investigate signals in the corners of the battle grid. With 6 Cabal points to influence the turn, the Thousand Suns make their move. A Rhino on this side busting across, and the Zangors deep striking in that corner. You've got 4 points for investigating signals, and then back here the Hellbrutes move back out of range. Won't be in range, But also the sorcerer got out of the rhino. You've moved back here to defend your stronghold, because defend stronghold's worth 8 points, and if that lone Rubikai died, then you won't get your 8 points. And the reason why you pulled back there is because I've got 2 units in strategic reserve that I haven't brought on yet, and they could have walked on the back in turn 3 and potentially charged and stopped you defending that stronghold. This way you're zoning it out quite well. Also by putting the Hellbrute there. This unit are in range to receive the buff to get a Cabal point back when they do a thing. And over here, Araman's got outside of his Land Raider with all of his Rubikai, and you've made sure that you're OCing me off of that objective one more time.
And keeping him in range so I get the aura from that Hellbrute as well.
It's like you planned it. Both of the Hellbrutes doing other things. We're going to do some Overwatch in a minute at the end of the movement phase. I am going to Overwatch that unit with the drones, try and tick a couple of them off before Araman starts doing his thing. Round this side of the battlefield, mistakes were made. Magnus moves 14.
Yes.
Tyrant only moves 10, he moves 14. He was able to jump up and over and come round this side, and that will be a 7-inch charge against Mortarion. We might have some Primarch on Primarch action. Down in the centre, Terminators are move blocking that big pile in the middle, and round here, at the end of the movement phase, the Knight Abominant is in range of 4 enemy units and could do a lot of mortal wounds here. Warp Storms are lashing all around the Abominant. Did any hit the drone on a 3? No. What about the Crawler? No.
Change the dice.
What about the Rhino?
Yes.
Yes, D3 on the Rhino. It's only got 3 left. And that takes a wound. And D3 on the Plague Marines that stood right next to him. And they're going to take D3 wounds. For 3 wounds, that'll kill one. One dead Plague Marine, 1 takes a wound. Then we come down to this end of the battle grid. And the Fetid Blow Drone is going to spurt all over Araman's unit. And hit them only 3 times. Wounds them on 2s, at least I wound them 3 times, and those are 3 5-up saves because of the modifiers. And you make every single save, and that puts me out of CP as well. Shooting phase, Hellbrute shooting into close combat on a 4, and that hits, and it'll wound on a 3, and it's twin linked so you can re-roll a wound, and that wounds, and I have a 5-up invulnerable save, which I fail, and that'll be D6 plus 1 damage on my Crawler. For 7 damage, that's a dead Crawler. It doesn't detonate. You manage to kill it, which will free you up for a charge again. Knew I shouldn't have charged that Hellbrute. Anyway, we come round here. Araman and the Rubikai are unloading everything into these Plague Marines. We've got some shenanigans happening though. Badger King, tell us what's going on down here.
So I'm going to spend a CP on Scrolled Infusion, which basically makes their bolters psychic for this turn.
Right.
So because I've picked the lethal hits, so they auto wound, and they become strength 5.
Okay,
which means it's wounding those on 4s rather than 5s.
Nice. It turns your bolters into my bolters, magic bolters.
Magic bolters.
Okay. Rolling the hit on 3s. 6s become lethal. Now, you would be wounding on 4s, but 3s, because you've got Araman, and you reroll wound rolls of 1, because they're Rubikai, and that's what they do. That's a -2, so that's a 5-up. And these are all 4-ups.
Yes.
3.5 die, then we have the Soul Reaper cannon. Soul Reaper.
6 shots.
Yep.
Hitting on 3s.
Okay, no lethals there, but these are 2s to wound because Araman.
And devastating wounds.
Nice. Okay, just 2 wounds. But you do kill the injured fella. Finally, a Warp Smite on the Sorcerer. Hits on 3s.
2 shots.
One of them hits. Strength 4. Doesn't add 1 to wound. Still won't wound. Add 1 to wound because of the thing, and another wound because of the thing is a wound. And I failed the save. That's another wound. Then Araman pulls out his Inferno Bolt Pistol. And he hits. And he'll wound on a 3. And he wounds. And that kills the injured fella. Then we have his Psychic Stalk, which is precision and could potentially kill my Foul Blight Spawn.
2. And
he does hit. It is strength 6. With the +1 to wound, it's 2s to wound. It's a 4-up save. If I fail this save, D6 damage on my Foul Blight Spawn, and I lose fight firsts. Maybe. I fail the save. I don't have any CP. 4 wounds to get through. 50-50 chance.
Oh, big money. Yes!
And that's a 6. Araman blows the brains out of my Foul Blightspawn. So Araman and his crew come busting out of the Land Raider. Cabal points psychic powers, lay down a load of pain into those Plague Marines and cut them down by half. And then over their head, the Land Raider fires in as well. All the anti-infantry is coming into the Plague Marines, and the 4 las cannons are coming back into this Plague Burst Crawler, trying to do more than 1 damage this turn.
We're hopeful.
Don't have the CP to do the stuff and things, so it's 3s to hit this time. And we have 3 hits, and this is 3s to wound. And we have 2 wounds. I do get cover this time. Trees are in the way, so I do have a 4-up save. And I fail 1, d6 plus 1 damage. It's definitely going to be more than 1 damage. This time it is 5 damage. It's on 6 wounds remaining. The anti-infantry shots took down another of the Plague Marines, and that's it for the firepower on the left flank as the Thousand Suns rearm and reload and brace themselves, ready for a charge. We're coming down into the middle where the Scarab Occult Terminators are unloading into Blightlord Terminators. Here are the shots with 4 Inferno Combi Bolters, which wound on 5s, causing only 2 wounds, and I make the saves. Soul Reaper Cannon. Wounds on 4s, but 6s are devastating. No devastating, in fact only 1 wound, and I make that save as well.
Hellfire Missile Rack, 2 shots.
Yes, 1 hit.
Strength 10.
Wounds on a 3. Wounds, -2. Flat 3 damage. If I fail this, one's dead. 1 isn't dead. Warp Smite from the Sorcerer, that all hits. Anti-infantry 4 up with devastating wounds, so 4s just go straight through, and that is a wound. That was a bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
Only 1 wound from the Terminators.
Not very good.
No.
I think that they need to go and have a sit down.
Yeah, but the unit behind, they're going to fire over their heads and fire everything into them, trying to soften up this rock here. Here it is. 18 shots from Inferno bolt guns.
Oh.
That was terrible, and it's 5s to wound. But at least you get to re-roll all fair wounds, because I am in range of an objective, and thank the Emperor, because that was only 1 wound. And that becomes 2 wounds.
3.
3. There was 1 hidden. 3. I'm okay. Soul Reaper Cannon again. Please kill 1. I'm starting to feel a bit sorry for you. These are 4s to wound. 6s up. No, just...
I can re-roll.
Oh, yes. Right, 4 wounds. 3-up saves. You kill 1.
Yay!
Then we did the Warp Smite and the Bolt Pistol as well, and no more wounds caused. So 10 Rubikai, 5 Scarab Occult Terminators. Turns out they can only kill 1 Blightlord Terminator. Who'd have thunk it? I'd have thought at least 4 died. Do you want to turn that frown upside down and shoot Magnus at Mortarion?
But we've still got a Psyker over here.
You've got a Psyker over there.
He can do a Warp Smite as well. Maybe this one will go better.
Right, okay then.
That's probably not.
He misses once.
It's anti-infantry 4.
He'd
So I can re-roll it.
What is that? That's a devastating. That's okay. You tickle another wound off. That's good. And then we're going to come across to Magnus, who's spending a CP on devastating sorcery, so he's going to re-roll all hits and all wounds as he targets Mortarion.
Angry Gaze Magnus this time.
Angry Gaze.
Angry Gaze. Not...
Hopefully better than 3 shots. That's better than 3 shots. 2s to hit. Re-rolling everything. Those 2 ones. That's good. That's 7. That's Nurgle's number. What's the strength? 9 versus 12. With the re-roll, that's 3 so far.
That's devastating as well.
Nice.
Oh, mama!
That's 3 devastating wounds. Right, so that's 9 damage. This is 4-up invulnerable saves. Okay, so that's 12 damage. Let's see how much pain he feels. Shrugging on 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4. He shrugs 5 of them. What a boss. He's on 9 wounds remaining, then he gets lit up by Tzeentch's Firestorm. D6 plus 3 shots for 8 shots. This is so much better.
He's
than last
much
time.
angrier than last time.
He's an angry boy. Which did lots of things wrong. 2s to hit.
2s to hit. The 6s, which I forgot for the last one, but are on this one, they are devastating because that's what
lethal
I said.
Thing? Lethal.
Yeah, lethal.
So they auto wound.
They auto wound.
Right, okay.
And then this is only strength 5 though, so
You get the +1 to wound thing, so it's 5s to wound with the reroll. AP -1, I need 3s. I failed 2 of them. How much?
2 damage a pop.
Feeling of the pains. He's down to 6 wounds remaining. A few moments later, you were thinking about firing the Knight Abominant into Mortarion.
I asked you, and then we had a discussion off camera, and then it's obviously don't listen to Winters, so I'm not shooting into Mortarion. I'm going to put it into your crawler down here.
Yes. Yeah, I said, yeah, because you were thinking maybe you could shoot him and go charging into them instead. So I told you what to do, and then you said, no, don't.
No,
yeah.
don't listen to Winters.
So you're not doing
don't listen to Winters.
Yeah, so you put the Stubber into the Plague Marines, didn't damage any.
Didn't do anything.
And now the Volkite Combustor, there's a multi-melter in that crawler. You want it dead, 3s to hit it. And that is really bad. You only get 4 hits.
So actually, hashtag do listen to Winters.
Oh dear, 3s to wound. How many wounds?
There's 2.
There's 2 wounds. AP dash. I failed. That's 3 damage on the
3
crawler.
damage.
So with that bit of a whiff, I think that is the end of the shooting phase. At least you killed a chunk of stuff. Not so many Terminators in the middle. You have softened Mortarion up. You nuke this unit down here and killed the crawler. This side was much better. But there are some charges. First up, the Knight wants to go charging back round and stomp on those Plague Marines. So let's see how far you manage to go with that. And that's 5. Boom, you get round there. You're in engagement range. We have Mortarion getting charged by Magnus. This is a 7. Does Nurgle want it? Yes, he does. Or maybe Tzeentch wants it. That's Tzeentch's number. Over this side of the battle grid, Araman and his bros need 4 inches to get into my Plague Marines. And that's a 5. They're good. Crump, that's the 3rd charge. Hellbrute versus Crawler.
Yeah.
Drone needs an 8. That's a 5.
No CPs.
Now there's a bit of a conundrum in the middle. Do you want to put your 5 Terminators in against my 8 Terminators that reroll all hits in close combat? You see, if you don't do that, then potentially I could just go charging into Magnus next turn and kill him, assuming he kills Mortarion or not. I could potentially take down your Warlord, but that's assuming if you go charging in, you've got to have a couple left alive there. So I'm locked up, so I can't charge Matt. It's a difficult decision. I don't know what to do. Charge or not charge?
Well, you only live once. Let's charge it.
Okay, he's going in. And that's a 6. That's no one's number. 5 charges across the line. That's a horror story. No idea how that's going to go. However, on the plus side for the Thousand Suns, I don't have any command points to interrupt. So let's go on to the fight phase. First up, using Cabal Point, so Magnus gives the reroll thing, reroll CP save
yeah.
For a Cabal Point. We're starting with the Abominant, which has got 9 attacks with his Electro Scourge going into these Plague Marines. His big whippy talon thing on 3s. Now, sustained hits 1, that's 6 explodes. The good thing about its big whippy thing, it's strength 10, I'm toughness 5, so you do wound on 2s, and that is a lot of wounds. I need 5 up saves. Each failed save will kill a Plague Marine.
Wow.
3 of them so far, but he's got a tail that lashes out, which hits on 3s and hits twice and wounds on 3s in this case because I'm a Plague Marine. They both wound. I need 4s. You kill 4 in total. I thought you'd have had that. So I pulled away from this side. You're choosing not to consolidate round into combat with these 2 guys because I left the 2 guys with the heavy plague weapons. And yeah, so if they just stood there, that's the end of that fight. Now we're coming across to Terminator on Terminator action. Let's see if they're better in close combat than they were at shooting. Here are all the Kopeshes on 3s. At strength 5 you need 5s to wound. 4 up saves. 1 was injured and falls.
Psychic weapon 6s will be auto wounding. Oh,
Force weapon, yeah, that's 2 auto wounds, and the last one will wound on a 4. Okay, so 2 wounds, -1 D3 a time. I fail them both, so D3 then D3 because you could kill 1.
That's
you do kill 1.
Come on.
He kills 2. Your sorcerer is a G. Turns out in the shooting phase you did 1 wound to them. In the fighting phase you killed 3 of them. Now I've got a Lord of Contagion of 5 guys versus your 5 guys, so it didn't turn out to be that bad in the end. We're coming across here to Araman and Rubikai versus Plague Marines. Here's all the Rubikai hitting on 3s with their close combat weapons. Would normally wound plague marines on 5s, but 4s, because Ahriman is telling them how to do it. Power armor saves. You take out 1. Sorcerer swings his force weapon on 3s. 6s are lethal. Just 2 hits. This is wounding on 2s now, because Ahriman thinks. They both wound. 2 4-up saves. I fail 1. D3 damage. That only tickles 1. Then Ahriman has 5 attacks, and there is 3 left to get through. 2s to hit with this. 6s are still lethal, so one of them auto wounds straight away, and he'll be wounding on 2s because he's leading a unit. And of course, he wounds all of those times. So 4 4-up saves. So 1 was injured, he's dead. And then 1 more takes D3, flat 3 wounds. It's the Black Staff of Ahriman. Which leaves my Plague Champion stood there, looking at Ahriman, wondering where all of his buddies have got to. And now we're on to the main event. Magnus the Red versus Mortarion. Striking out with the Blade of Magnus.
So strike attack, 7 attacks, but it is psychic, so it will be...
Lethals on 6s, that 1 auto wounds. Strength 16, but it's a psychic weapon, so +1 to the wound roll, wounding on 2s. Because that's what Magnus does. Is that a 1? What's the 1? I've just got 1 1. So 5 get through. AP crazy.
Maybe 3.
4 up and vulnerable save. How much damage?
3 a time.
And I've got 6 wounds left. So you're saying there's a chance. I only fail 1 save. And then his feel no pains. He fails one of them as well. Mortarion's on 4 wounds left. You know your damage did 3 attacks base.
Yes.
Mine does 4. But I've got less attacks. Instead of 7, I've got 5. I feel like I should have 7. I'm the Nurgle guy. And I'm -1 to hit because of... He's really poorly right now, so 3s to hit. He only hits once. Strength 15. What is that? That's a 3. I wound at -3 for damage.
4 up invuln. But I have my reroll.
Oh, yeah. With your Cabal thing, and you make it, and even then you'd reduce damage by 1, so that battle is ongoing. Magnus the Red plunges his spear into Mortarion and injures him, but only a little bit. Only a little bit. We'll get back to this one. First, though, we'll go back over here, and my Plague Champion will try and punch these Rubikai. He's got a heavy Plague weapon, otherwise known as a Power Fist. It hits on 4s, and 6s are lethal, and wounds on a 2. So that's 2 wounds at -2, comes -3, but you don't care about that. 5 up and vulnerable saves. We're going here? We're going here. He punches one of them in the face. Some sweet revenge there after he got absolutely annihilated by Ahriman after he come piling out of that Land Raider. Now we're back in the middle for Terminator on Terminator action part 2, 3, 4. We're deep into the Terminator on Terminator thing. Starting off with a Plague Blade from the Lord of Contagion, who hits on 2s and re-rolls all hits. And at strength 8 with your reduced toughness, I'm going to wound on 2s as well.
But it's freeze because of the -1 wound.
So it's 3s to wound because the -1 to wound, but each failed save will kill one of these Terminators. This is a 3 damage weapon. And only kill 1. Flowers of Corruption. Re-rolling because of Lord of Contagion. It would be 3s to wound, but 4s to wound because of... That's still good, because of Scarab stuff. 4-up saves again, each doing 2 damage. That's 2 more dead. And there's 2 of the Scarab Occult left. And here are the remaining Biotic Blades on 3s. Re-rolling. 6s are lethal. 4s to wound, though, because of Scarab things. You're going to live. You're going to live. They're all 4-up and vulnerable saves. 5 4-up and vulnerable saves. And 1 takes a wound. And there is 2 Scarab Occult Terminators facing down my 5 Terminators. And that was good. Locking them up. If you didn't charge them, they would have gone straight after Magnus and killed him. Or maybe ripped a few feathers off or something like that. They'd have had a go anyway. They'd have had a go. But for now, we're locked up. And then I should kill you in my turn, and then Magnus can jump on my Blightlord Terminators, I think. So that actually worked out quite well. So at the end of Thousand Suns, turn 2, you're starting to defend your stronghold for 8 points. And you're investigating signals in both corners of the battle grid for another 4 points, which gets you up to... 1 minute, let's go and check some points. Double checking, 14 points to the Thousand Suns, 30 points to the Death Guard, and I'm on 1, 2, 3 objectives, so I'm going to get a lot more on the primary. However, having said that, Mortarion is not long for this world unless I pull him back out of combat, and who would do such a thing? Me, probably. And over here, this flank looks like it's collapsed quite a little bit as well, and I need to take battle check tests all across the line. However, I've got 2 units of Plague Marines who are still due to come on from reserve as we go into Death Guard turn 3. My orders: area denial, deny the Thousand Suns at the centre of the battle grid. I've got to kill all the Terminators to do that and defend my stronghold. Okay, down this side of the battle grid, one of the units of Plague Marines came on, and the Sergeant, the champion, he fell back from combat. He didn't fail his battle shock test. The idea is tanks one more time, trying to kill that Hellbrute because it's big and scary. And if I fail to kill that Hellbrute is going to start killing stuff. It's going to make a charge at some point. And then throw lots of firepower into Araman's unit and try and weaken that down. This gives me some strength round here. In the middle, I need to kill a couple of Terminators to get area denial. I think I've got that. Yeah. And I need to start defending my stronghold. So Mortarion fell out of combat. I only failed 1 battle shock test. It's with this Rhino over here. We'll get to that in a minute. But Mortarion fell out. He tactically repositioned backwards over here.
Ran away screaming.
And while he was screaming orders...
We're not sure if he's pooped his pants because he already smells, but he definitely probably has. Screaming
out some orders. Brothers, assist me. And we have a crawler, a drone, a dreadnought, this unit over here, and they're going to fire everything into Mortarion. And 1 unit of Plague Marines came on one flank, and this unit of Plague Marines might as well start in my deployment zone because they've come on this flank, and there's 24-inch range. They're going to fire into Magnus the Red as well. Death by firing squad, and if that fails, I'm going to send the Knight Abominant in. How's that? That sounds good.
Sounds very mean.
Sounds good. And then I start defending my stronghold and holding on to that. Over here, the 2 remaining Plague Marines didn't fail battle shock, but they jumped into the Rhino that did fail battle shock. And I've pulled back onto this objective here. If I manage to pull this off and get rid of Magnus the Red and a unit in the middle, I've still got a Knight problem. I've still got this big squad that is untouched, and a Hellbrute and a Land Raider is untouched. The Thousand Suns still have many tools left in the toolbox, but I am running away on the points for now. Having said that, I haven't got much board penetration. I'm not deep in the Thousand Suns deployment zone yet to do some shenanigans if any secondaries turn up. But we'll go into the shooting phase. We'll see how this goes. Let's start off by firing at this Hellbrute. 1 minute. Before I fired the entropy cannons, I fired the Plague Burst Mortar 1 more time at the unit that was on that objective. They're not there anymore, but you're still defending it with the Rhino and the Hellbrute. Now the 2 entropy cannons come into your Hellbrute over here, and one of them hits, and it wounds. And that's minus a lot. 5 up and vulnerable save, which you fail. And this is D6 plus 1, I believe. It is, so it's on 1 wound left after the Stubbers bounced off of it 1 more time. Then we went on to the second crawler. I fired the Stubbers, bounced off of it. The entropy cannons are coming in though, and the mortar is going to hit Araman's unit. Here are the entropy cannons. 1 of them hits. 1 of them wounds. Again, another, sorry, drop dice don't count. Trees in the way, 4 plus save. Damn it. Still alive. Let's drop a mortar into Araman's unit for D6 plus 3 plus 2 because of blast. Hits on 3s, 6s are lethal. Wounds on 2s, but you get 3 up saves. There is cover.
We go for 3s. Oh dear.
And the mortar explodes, 3 of them into dust. Right, that was more successful than I hoped it would be, which is good, because this unit of Plague Marines, we're going to fire into them, but that Hellbrute's still alive, so I'm going to fire everything at the Hellbrute. I need to kill that Hellbrute. We're going to overcook. We don't need to overcook the plasma gun, so they spray a bit of WD-40 on the triggers, feather them perfectly. 2 of them hit, 5s to wound, 1 of them wounds, 4 up save or death. Still alive. Okay, let's do the Blight Launcher. Hits both of the times, 5 up saves. Wounds, sorry, 5 up to wound and a 4 up save because you are in contagion because of that thing. It's still alive. Okay, let's do it with bolt guns. 3s, 6s are lethal. There's a couple of lethals. And these are 6s. Okay, 3 wounds, 3 up saves because of contagions. He's still alive. This is a problem. This is a problem. The drone then has to shoot at him. And auto hits 8 times. Wounds on 5s. 1 wound, ignoring cover. 1 4-up save or dead. And no more guns can hit your Hellbrute. And that's a dead Hellbrute unless you CP it. There's nothing else over here that can touch it.
No.
No?
He's going to go. I don't think it makes any difference if he blows up. No, I'm going to take him out.
Why aren't you spending it on keeping that hero Hellbrute alive? Come on now.
Well, we loved him.
Yes.
He was very pretty.
He hung in there.
However, 1 CP, I can reduce the damage to 0.
Right.
I'm going to say that for Magnus because, of course, you want to put everything and kill him.
Well, how many CP you got?
1.
Oh, okay then. Okay, so talking about Magnus, let's do this. Starting off with the drone here. You did that Cabal point thing, which means you got a free CP reroll thing. So anyway, the drone auto hits him. I'll do both of the drones at the same time. It's 4d6 auto hitting with the spurty spurts for this number of auto hits. These wound on 5s and will force 4-up saves because of contagions and things. And I take 3 wounds off of him just with plague sprayers. Nice. And then the crawler behind will shoot him in the butt and hit him both times. I need 5s to wound him. Wound him once, 4-up and vulnerable save, sir, or you get hit by a melter. That's a melter shot.
We're re-rolling that
with
one.
The reroll with the Cabal thingy. That's not a melter shot. You're good. The missile hits and the missile wounds. Another 4-up and vulnerable save. You make that as well. Can you stop doing that? We're coming on to the auto cannon from the Dreadnought. Hits once. Doesn't wound. Okay. I'm running out of gun. He's a tough old bird, isn't he? Coming across the Plague Marines, let's nail him with some shots. I fired them all in. Plus the guys from the firing hatch in the Rhino. He's on 8 wounds remaining. He's still on 8 wounds remaining. We've only got 2 more things left to shoot. So the Knight and this unit that moved forwards to make sure he was in rapid fire range. I've got a CP. I'm spending it now on a Ferric Blight to get my AP up. Because bolt guns force a 3-up save. This will force a 4-up save. If I can actually hit him, and that one's lethal. These will wound him on 6s, but I get to reroll 1s because Mortarian's nearby. So 2 4-up saves. He's still good. We are overcooking plasma. Now is the time. No, there is no point because you reduce all damage. Yeah, there's no point. So WD-40 on the trigger first of all. Make sure it works. Then we shoot. 5s to wound. We wound once. Invulnerable save. He takes another wound. He's down to 7. Then we do a Blight Launcher into him, which hits both of the times. And reroll that one. Doesn't wound. Okay. So it's on to the Knight. Stubber from the Knight did nothing. Here's the Volkite Combuster. 3s to hit. Strength 10 versus toughness 10 now, right?
Contagion.
I'm really looking for those 6s because they're devastating. I get 1 6 and 1 4-up and vulnerable save. Which you make. So that'll be 3 damage.
Takes him down to 4.
And then I forgot, at the end of my movement phase, he does this Psychic Warp Storm thing, which will hit Magnus on a 3 and put D3 mortal wounds onto Magnus. For another 3.
Oh, he's down to 1.
He's down to 1. He's bleeding. His wings are torn off. He's on 1 wound remaining, perfectly softened up for the charge. So let's charge with the Knight. And that's an 11. He's angry. Crump, the Knight goes in there, but we're going to have 1 more charge this turn. Over here, the drone engages Araman's unit. Then we did the fight between Araman and the drone. Not a lot happened here. You put 1 wound on the drone. I killed a dude and put 1 wound on the Rubikai. The idea here is you already were outscoring me on that objective. The idea is to lock you up and stop you coming down towards any of the softer meat over here. Keep you engaged for now. Plus the drone is allowed to fall back, shoot and charge. It's a thing. Next charging unit, because you've only got 1 CP.
I have indeed.
And you've spent 2 Cabal points to reduce the thing.
2 Cabal points, so again, get my reroll of save for
Right.
Araman. Not Aaron, Magnus.
Yes, and at this point I was thinking maybe if I shouldn't have spent that CP on Ferric Blight, I'd have had a tank shock. But then I was hoping to kill him with the shots. So I can't tank shock. So I just have to whip you with my Electro Scourge. This has got 9 attacks. I hit Araman, Magnus on 3s, 6s explode. There are no explosions there. And this is strength 10, typically your toughness 11, but toughness 10. So I'm winning him on 4s. And I win him 3 times, -2, 3 damage. Any failed saves, he dies. You have 3 saves to make.
So I'll use one of those CP straight away to make one of those damage 0.
Okay.
So I then only have 2 saves to make.
2 saves to make.
And one of these is a reroll. That will not save him.
That doesn't save him. Tzeentch doesn't come to his rescue on a 6. He deadly demises. No. And that is the end of Magnus the Red. Of course, we knew all along that Mortarion was the better warlord.
That ran away?
No, he didn't. He tactically repositioned.
Ran away.
No, what? Look, and I drew you into this web of intrigue and mystique. And he was like, oh, he went down all Tzeentchy. Like, oh, I want to watch.
In the comments, everyone will say, Mortarion ran away. That's it.
No, they'll say Magnus did plenty wrong. Right, shenanigans over. Back to Terminators on Terminators. You've got your Kopesh, then you've got your Sorcerer trying to smack down my Blightlord Terminators. Here's the Kopesh.
3 hits.
He hits twice. Wounds on 5s. That does a wound. It doesn't do a wound. Then your Sorcerer Lord.
Yeah, 4 attacks. Again on 3s. Hello.
Okay,
and
so
it's
those are
psychic,
lethal.
so they go straight through.
Yeah.
And then this is strength 6.
4s to wound.
No.
He wounds twice. AP.
-1. Oh, lots of
I
head.
make the save. Then the Lord of Contagion and the Blight Lords fought back and wiped out the Scarab Occult Terminators. And that is the end of turn 3. At the end of turn 3, the Thousand Suns have defended their stronghold. I'll get some points for area denial, and the Thousand Suns will pick up 10 points on the primary as we go into Thousand Suns turn 3. The Death Guard are on 50 points, and at the start of turn 3, the Thousand Suns are on 33. Araman is now in charge of these Thousand Suns, and he orders them to engage on all fronts and bring it down, tear down as many monsters and vehicles as possible. Here we are after the movement phase. After the Land Raider busts forward and your once per battle redeployed teleport shenanigans with your Sorcerer comes up and over here, you're engaging on all fronts. So that is going to be 5 points. And there's a lot of dudes suddenly here with lethal hits with their psychic weapons. Looking at Mortarion, who is on 4 wounds remaining. He's worth a lot of points for Bring It Down, and you can get a maximum of 8 points for Bring It Down as well. Killing him won't stop me defending the stronghold because I've got multiple units there, but he's worth a lot of points. Adding their weight of firepower and trying to take down some vehicles is the Knight Abominant. That Rhino's on 3 wounds. There's 2 guys inside it. The Zangors are right behind it as well. So there's jumping on Death Guard units on this side of the battle grid. And round here you decide to leave Araman in close combat.
Yeah, I don't see any point in pulling it back. I've got to do a battle shock on that, so it could end up being bad as well.
You're not battle shocked. You're still over half.
I'm still over half.
So you're okay. But he's got a Doombolt thing that he can do.
Yeah.
And of course you can further multi-melt it into close combat to try and take on the drone as we go into the shooting phase. But actually no, at the end of the movement phase, we've got to do the Warp Lightning thing from the Abominant. You hit the other Abominant on a 3. No, you hit this drone on a 3. Yes, for D3. And that's 3. And you hit that Rhino on a 3, and it's only on 3 wounds remaining, and you don't hurt the Rhino. So we're going to start the shooting phase here with the big Volkite gun from the Knight, firing point blank at the Rhino. Hitting on 3s. 6s explode. Wounds on 3s. 6s are devastating. Okay.
6s.
So no 6s, but if I fail 1 armor save, dead Rhino. Double dead Rhino. Does it explode? It doesn't explode, and there's 2 guys inside. And they don't take any mortal wounds as they come piling out. And now the Plague Rains have come piling out of that Rhino. They're going to get lit up by the Zangors. Here's the Fate Caster Bows. 4s to hit.
Add 1 to the hit roll as well.
3s to hit. That's lethal. The rest wound on 4s. 4 up saves. You kill one.
There's 2 damage.
You kill both of them with the Zangors. Brilliant stuff. To be fair, that couldn't have gone better. The Rhino's gone, the unit inside it have gone. That frees up the Knight Abominant to come charging into any of the targets over here. And now we're coming into the backfield with this Execution Squad, which is getting you engaged on all fronts, has appeared behind Mortarion and wants to shoot the Primarch in the back. Now, lethal hits on psychic weapons, and you're spending the thing on the thing that makes the bolt guns...
1 CP for scrolled infusions and...
That's the one. Inferno bolt guns. Hitting on 3s. 6s are lethal. Now, you're only winning on 6s, but...
Rerolls because you're on an objective.
He definitely is. He's trying to defend that stronghold. Re-rolling. 3-up saves. He loses 3 wounds. Feeling of the pain. He loses 2 wounds. He's on 2 remaining. Soul Reaper.
6 shots, hit on 3s.
Yep.
And then
5s re-roll in. Looking for 6s
for the devastating wounds.
I would pick them all up.
I'm going to try, so here we go. Should have changed the dice.
No, just 1. I'll make the save. Still 2 Psychers left to go. Here's the Warp Smite from the Sorcerer in the group. And he hits both of the times.
And then it is only strength 4 though, so it needs 6s again, but he's unrerollable.
On objective. Negative.
And then we've got an Exalted Sorcerer who's got an Astral Blast, which is D6.
Sounds very nurgly. For 3
shots.
Okay.
Hitting on 2s.
Hits all the times. 6s to wound.
6s to wound, but the 6s are devastating.
Yep. And you can pick them all up. Negative. Then you fired a pistol in. It did do the wound on the lethal. And I do fail the save. But I passed the feel no pain. It's on 2 wounds left. The Execution Squad has failed to take out Mortarion. So I feel like you're going to have to divert some firepower from the Land Raider to do it. Right, we started off firing with the Land Raider. The Heavy Bolter killed my champion on his own. The other Combi Bot Havoc Launcher came back, put a wound on the squad behind.
Just tickled him.
And now you've got 4 Las Cannons. Mortarion's on 2 wounds left, and you're putting them all into Mortarion.
I feel he needs to be killed. Right, here we go. So hit on 3s.
You hit 3 times. Strength 12, toughness 12.
Forced wound. Just
1 wound. Right, 50-50 save on Mortarion, and he is alive. You failed to assassinate him.
Boss.
He's just the greatest Primarch. He won't go down. 2 shots with Multi-Melter. Interfetted Blow Drone in close combat. 4s to hit, and they both miss. Okay, on to Araman's unit. A couple of pistols went into the drone, didn't damage it, but Araman's going to do something special.
So he can use his once per game free Cabal ritual. So
right.
Chuck a Doom Bolt at this Tonk over here.
At the Tonk on 6 wounds remaining.
So it's a D6, so we just find out what it does.
A 4.
So that's D3 plus 3 wounds. So I need big money here. That's not big money.
That's not big money. That is 4 wounds. The tank is on 2 wounds remaining. We ran through the rest of the shooting phase with some Havoc launchers and combi stuff. A wound put on over here and 2 wounds on the Terminators in the middle of the battle grid. Now we're on to the charge phase.
Indeed.
There are a couple of charges. The Knight Abominant wants to engage the Crawler down here. This will be a 7-inch charge, and you're going to charge Mortarion in the backfield. Try and stab him in the back.
Well, couldn't shoot him in the back, so let's try poking him now with sticks.
Yeah, well, it's a thing, and if you kill him, and you could potentially OC me off of that objective if you make a 9-inch charge, but you don't have any CP to re-roll. Good luck, sir.
Here we go.
And that's a 10. They're angry after Magnus got taken out. What about the 7 on the Abominant? And that's in as well. We're going to start the fight phase here with the Abominant versus the Crawler. He's got 10 attacks with his 9 attacks with Electrosurge and on 3s.
6s explode. Oh,
that's nice. That's 3 6s.
I'll put an extra one in.
Strength 10, toughness 9, 3s to wound. 5-up saves. That's a dead Crawler. That gets you up to 7 points for Bring It Down. You've pushed me off the objective over there. And now we're on to the fight phase between the Rubikai and Mortarion. Here's all just the punchy stuff.
Yeah.
Just trying to punch.
Freeze.
And 6s. And that's 4 6s. He's on 2 wounds remaining. There's a 2-up save though. You should be okay. I get snake eyes. Feeling of the pain.
Come on. Yes.
You take me out with basic close combat weapons. I feel like you've cut his Achilles heel off and he was already injured and reeling, and he doesn't deadly demise either. And you've sunk my battleship. More than that, you've piled into all the Plague Marines. You've OC'd me off that objective, so I'm no longer defending it unless I kill a couple in my fight phase. But before we get to that, defenders fight first over here between the drone and Araman. So we ran through that combat off camera. I was convinced that the drone would live, but he didn't live because Araman gives you +1 to wound. And he's a G in close combat. He's actually killed the drone on that objective there. Now we come back over here to the Plague Marines trying to kill these Rubikai and defend my stronghold. Here's the Plague Knives on 3s. And these will wound you on 3s because of contagions and things, and that's 1 wound, and that's 1 4-up save. You're alive, oh dear. It's the heavy stuff that counts though on 2 hits. See, the thing is, I've got a guy who's not in range of it. You've got 2 guys who's not in range of it. I need to kill at least 2, but then you'll just pull these guys away, so I need to kill 4. 1 wound, 1 4-up and vulnerable save because of all the things.
Lovely for that.
That's it. We bounce. You've stopped me defending my stronghold. You've stunk my battleship. Is there a way back for the Thousand Suns in this fight? Both Magnus and both Mortarion have been taken out. As we go on to Death Guard, turn 4. Maxing out the bring it down points, the Thousand Suns get up to 46 points. And I'm only on the central objective now, so I only pick up 5 on the primaries. It's 55 to the Death Guard, 46 to the Thousand Suns. Is there a comeback on the cards here? They're only 9 points behind. And I need to get behind enemy lines, and with my slow army, that's not possible this turn. And assassinate someone, I've got to dig through a lot of Rubikai to get there. Right, I've killed Magnus, so Operation Kill Araman is in effect, which will get me assassinate. There's a couple of tanks, plus this unit of Plague Marines looking at him. Hopefully that's enough. I also need to take back primary objectives, which includes my home field objective. So I've pulled out of combat over here, so the Dreadnought can go in, the Knight can go in, Drone, these units. We're going to pour a lot of firepower into the second in command squad.
Running away again?
We're not, no, they're falling back to a lot, yeah. Talking about not running away though, I'm going to send my Terminators into your Knight, because I know Knights can't fall back, shoot and charge. So they'll go in there. The drone had to advance to get round there to make sure I stay on the central objective. Hopefully I tie up your Knight, clear away this thing here, and then we'll have beer and pretzels and talk about it in the after-game party. But we'll start the shooting phase here with 2 big tanks of doom firing everything into Araman's unit. Here is the mortar on one of the tanks, which hit on 3s, and that's lethal, and wound on 2s. But there is cover in the way, so that is 3 2-up saves. And you've spent Cabal points on being able to reroll a save again. And that kills 1 of them. Then the entropy cannons come in and hit once and don't wound. I did the stubbers, they bounced. Did the stubbers from the second tank, they bounced, but here's the mortar. Many more shots this time. These hit on 4s, however, because that tank is quite injured. Mind you, 2 of those are lethal, so that's pretty good. 2s to wound. 4 more wounds, 4 more 3-up saves on Araman's unit. And that kills another 2. And then the entropy cannons, this time both of them hit. And one of them's lethal, and the other one wounds. We have 2 wounds, 2 5+ invulnerable saves to keep your Thousand Suns alive. You make 1, fail 1, d6 +1 damage will nuke.
I'm going to use my reroll.
Okay, yep.
No.
I nuke the other guy. Just leaves Araman standing there. And now we're going to firing squad him with the Plague Marines. If now is the time to overcook some plasma. They ran out of WD-40.
It's all sticky and hold
It's all sticky again. 3 of them hit. 3 of them wound. Hazardous. I don't lose anyone to hazardous. 4 ups or 2 damage a time. Aaron takes 2 wounds. Here is the Blight Launcher. Misses. And the bolt guns. That one's lethal. These ones need 3s because of contagions and things. And those are 4 4-up saves on Araman. And he's down to 3 wounds remaining. We're going to have to do it in close combat, boys. Which is a scary prospect, because Araman is quite a G. Okay, let's come down over here, rinse and repeat, and fire this entire Plague Marine squad into that squad here.
You haven't done your Warp Storms.
Oh, do my Warp Storm thing on the Abominant. I don't roll a 3+.
No.
Then I didn't stop shooting after the unit of Plague Marines, a second unit of Plague Marines, the Knight, the Fetid Bloat Drone, the Hell Brute. 5 different units firing in at this unit that dared to assassinate Mortarion. And I've got it down to 2 Rubikai and the Sorcerer. And that's it. We did some shooty shots over here with Terminators into Knights, but didn't do anything. That is the end of my shooting phase. We need to assassinate now. So if I kill this unit, that'll be assassinate because there's a character in there. So let's charge in with the Knight. That's a 9. If I kill your Abominant, I don't do it. I'm not going to kill your Abominant, but the idea is to lock it up. And a 7 will lock it up. Well, I know you can shoot out of combat, but you can't charge out of combat. And then over here, these plucky band of heroes are going to go charging in to Araman. And that's a 7. That's a successful charge as well. At the end of the charge phase, I put the Hellbrute in as well into this unit on my home field objective, and I'm spending a CP on tank shot because I don't trust my dice rolling. More than that, you've got a 4+ invulnerable save here.
This should kill them.
This should kill them. I've got this number of, I need 5s for mortal wounds, up to a maximum of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 mortal wounds in total. Crumpet looks like this. This puts the Exalted Sorcerer down to 4 wounds remaining, and then I hit you with a hammer and only hit once. But it will wound on a 2. It doesn't wound. Do you have a CP to interrupt? Is it worth interrupting anywhere?
I've only got the 1 CP, so I'm going to save that for mine. Take a damage down to 0 if I need it.
Okay, let's carry on with the big Knight of Doom. Electro Scourge hits on 3s, and again, no 6s for those sustained hits. But I am winning your priest, not your priest, your sorcerer on 2s. And that is 4 wounds at -2, 3 damage a time. 2 failed saves and he's dead.
4 ups.
He's alive. He's somehow alive on 1 wound remaining, but there's the tail. There's the Bale Mace, which sweeps round between his legs, thumps into him on 3s and then hits him once, and wounds him on a 2, and wounds him once. Invulnerable save or death, sir.
Yes.
Save. He's still alive. He's hanging in there on 1 wound remaining. So I haven't assassinated him yet. So let's move across over here and see if we can assassinate Araman. Plague Knives into Araman. No lethals at all. Looking for 3s here. And that is 4 wounds. 4. Does he have a 2-up save normally or a 3-up save normally?
3-up save normally.
So these are 4s then, because Death Guard things. He takes 3 wounds. He was on 3 wounds remaining.
So I'm going to use my...
Yes.
I've got a CP still in hand. So this is my Cabal Points reroll. No.
He's dead.
And then my CP reroll to try and keep him alive. He's still alive.
Okay, so...
On a wound.
Right, so now I hit you with my heavy plague fist things. All right, 2 of them in this squad. But I hit on 4s. 2 of them are lethal. And 3 of them wound in total. 4 up invulnerable saves to keep Araman alive. Otherwise,
Come on, Araman.
I get assassinated.
Oh, he is very, very dead.
Harry the man gets wiped out. I've got some assassination points, which are the only points I'm going to get this turn. But now let's find out what some Blight Lords and a Lord of Contagion can do against a Knight Abominant. Particularly with lethal hits being a thing. So here are my 5 strike attacks with the Plague Blade from the Lord of Contagion. He's going to need 5s to wound that Knight though. And he does wound twice. And at AP -2 becomes -3. You need 2 6-up saves.
No.
And that'd be a total of 6 damage. Then Bubotic Blades from the remaining Terminators need 6s to wound. That is 3 more wounds, 3 more 6-up saves, each doing 1 damage. 9 damage in total. Yeah, 9 damage in total so far, and then these are all the flails. With a rerolled hit, which I just remembered. And 6s to wound, 2 more wounds. These are 5-up saves. Oh, I knocked the guy over. And that is another 2 damage. 11 wounds. So it turns out 5 Blight Lord Terminators with a Lord of Contagion can take exactly 11, half of the wounds off. A unit of 10 would probably be able to do it. You can fight back here. That is it for all my attacking units. You have your Electro Surge, which are smashing out against the Terminators and hitting them on 3s.
9 attacks on 3s.
6s explode. There's 1 explosion finally. And these are wound on 2s. Lots of wounds. 3 damage a time. So, oh. I lose 4 Terminators. Now you swing out with the Bale Mace and hit all the times. And this will wound on 3s though. Clubby tail thing. Wound.
Wounds. AP -1.
I make the save. So the fight with the Abominant and the last remaining Terminators continued. Then we came back down to here, to my home field objective, where this sorcerer is still alive on 1 wound remaining. He lashed out his Psychic Spear at the Hellbrute and failed to injure it. And then at the end of Death Guard turn 4, we rack up some points. I only pick up 5 points on the Assassinate there. That gets me up to 60 points. And the Thousand Suns are on 1-2 objectives because that Abominant OCs me off of that one. So they're going to pick up 10 in turn 4, which means they're catching up. They're on 56 points to the Death Guard 60, only 4 points behind now as we go into Thousand Suns, turn 4. The Sons of Prospero are 4 points behind, and they had to burn their CP to replace one of these cards, and they've got Storm Hostile Objective, take an objective off of the Death Guard and no prisoners. Kill as much as possible. With that in mind, down here out of the thing, you've got the Land Raider and the Rhino next to this unit of Plague Range. You've got an OC of 7 now on that objective. I OC you off of it. But if you kill 4 of them, you take that.
Yes.
And that will be Storm Hostile Objectives. But you want no prisoners as well. There's a potential charge with the Hellbrute that can come wheeling in over here. And there's potential kills as well with the Land Raider shooting at either a 2-wound Plague Burst Crawler over here. 1 Lance Cannon gets through, it's dead. Or the drone in the middle of the battle grid. So you're trying to do a lot with a little. But there could be a few points into this. The Rhino tucking up against the wall, because you went second, so you're scoring at the very end of the game. And talking about scoring at the very end of the game, there's an objective here that your Knight Abominant's on. You don't really want it to be there. You want it to kill and get in there and do its stuff. So the Zangors are being very cheeky. They're hiding around the back here, because in turn 5 they could zip round onto this objective or potentially advance across onto that objective. You're keeping them safe to score in the very last thing of the game. So is there a comeback on the cards here? Can the Thousand Suns and the Strands of Fate pull this victory from the jaws of defeat? Well, you've got your movement phase shenanigan things first, as the Abominant does a Storm. Warp Storm, Psychic Power, need a 3. And that's a 3, and it does D3 mortal wounds to those Terminators. Only 1. No prisoners is the order. We're starting off the shooting phase. The Volkite Combustor from the Abominant coming at the drone in the middle of the battle grid. Also trying to get it off of one of the primary objectives, but you're hitting on 4s. And that's good shooting text. Wounds on 3s, but 6s are devastating. And we haven't seen any 6s, so now is the time. Now is not the time. But there's 1, and these 2 are cocked as hell, so reroll them. Okay, so that is 6 damage right there, and these are 3-up saves. That's 9 damage. The drone is on 1 wound remaining.
Stubs into the
Stubber
drone.
for the win. 2 hits. 1 wound, no AP, 3-up or death. It's alive on 1 wound. Frustrating the Thousand Suns plans. Turns out that you also lined up the Zangors. So 3 of them can see the drone. It's almost like you planned it. 2 Great Bows. They're hitting on 3s. Okay, 1 hit. Wounding on a 5. No. Doesn't wound. And then you have the Psychic Mutating Orbs.
So D6 shots for 3.
3 shots, okay. This is going to hit on 3s and wound on 4s.
It is a psychic attack. So that one auto wounds.
Okay.
And then...
yeah, that's lethal.
Yeah.
And then a 4 to wound, but 6s are devastating and you kill it. 1 wound. 1 wound comes through.
AP dash.
3-up save.
Yes!
Command point.
Oh!
The drone's alive on 1 wound. I'm not getting killed by birdmen running around on discs. This cannot happen. You're going to have to shoot me with las cannons or something heroic like that. Problem is, you need to kill some plague marines as well. So where are we going to start down this end of the battlefield?
So we'll start with this rhino.
Yes.
Havoc launcher and its bolter into them to start with.
Okay, let's do the Inferno combi bolter then, because one's on 1 wound. Do you want to tickle him off? There's a hit. 5's to wound. There isn't a wound. Okay, the Havoc launcher is D6 shots and +1 to this because of the blasting.
5 shots.
So 3's to hit. We have 4 hits. 4's to wound. We have wound. We have save. It's still okay. You have Rhino number 2.
Rinse and repeat.
Okay, this is 4 shots with a bolter this time because you are in rapid fire range. And this time 3 of them hit. Can any of them wound though? 3 of them can.
Come on.
All right, it's -1. One's, I have to do this separately because 1 is, right, he's dead. And then I'm going to put the other 2 on guys in cover. Like that. Launcher of the Havoc variety.
2 shots.
Just 2 shots with the Havoc launcher, yeah. Both of them hit.
Forced wounds.
One of them wounds. That's a failed save.
1 damage.
We got down, had a good look for the multi-melter on the Hellbrute. Turns out I can't see the drone. He has to put it into the Plague Marines over here. And he hits on 3s. And he misses. Which gives you some interesting decisions. Because it's 5 points for that. And 2 points for everything that you kill.
So...
Storming a stronghold and things.
So glass cannons are going to have to try and plink off that last wound on the drone. Feels a little bit overkill, but overkill's good if it's dead.
Yes.
And then all the other guns spin round and blast those.
Okay, so how many las cannons into the drone?
We're going to put all
on 1 wound. You know, at this stage, don't listen to me, by the way. Don't. I would put 2 las cannons into the drone, 2 las cannons into this plague burst crawler, and everything else into the plague marines, and see what happens. Let Zinch decide.
We all know split firing always works.
It always
works.
works.
Let's do it because it's entertaining for the masses.
So what are we starting off with?
We'll shoot that drone first.
Okay.
And we'll be able to find out if we should definitely never lift in the winters.
Okay, 3's to hit the drone. 1 of them hits. 3's to wound the drone. It wounds. 5 up or death on the drone. I've already spent a CP. It's a dead drone. You know, that's pretty good, because not only is that 2 points for no prisoners, that is 5 points off of the primary for me. I'm not scoring that now. See, it's working. One of the dominoes has fallen. Now 2 shots into tank.
On 3s.
They both hit. 3's to wound. 1 of them wounds. 5 up. It's got 2 wounds left, and this does D6 force +1. 5 up and vulnerable save or death. Oh, death. Does it blow up? We haven't had any explosions. It's very disappointing. Yeah. Going for the full sweep. Here's the Havoc launcher into Plague Marines. And that'll be 5 shots. 3's to hit them. 4's to wound them. Everything hit.
That's 2.
I'm okay. 4 shots with your Infernal combi bolter. 3's to hit. Everything hit. 5's to wound. 1 wound. In cover, 3 up save. I'm alive. And then the twin heavy bolter. And that is only 2 hits with 4's to wound, re-rolling because it's twin linked. And 2 more 3 up saves because of cover, because of crater. And he killed 2. And that is the end of the shooting phase. And if you kill 1 more Plague Marine, you'd have stormed this hostile objective. Right. The Hellbrute can go charging in. You don't have any CP to tank shock. The Hellbrute needs a 9, sir.
Here we go.
Zinch's number. That's a 9! Smooshy comes in there. This one's got a power scourge. It's big flappy tendrils of doom. It's got 8 attacks. This is an anti-infantry weapon. The perfect weapon for the job, hitting on 3s. If you manage to hit. That's 3 hits. You just need to kill 1. Why are you making it look bad? 2's to wound. 3's to wound. 2 wounds. 2 4-up saves. Or dead. One of them's dead. And you've stormed... Actually, it occurred to me, because he's the OC adding you didn't need to do that. You stormed the hostile objective.
Squish.
You've stormed a hostile objective. Yeah. Hashtag listen to who?
Not winters.
Not winters. Don't listen. Ever listen. I'll lead you down a dark path of Debauchery.
However,
What?
we did listen and we split fired and everything died. So actually...
Split and fire always works. We're coming over here. We're going to do the fight back with the Terminators into the Abominant. Here is the Lord of Contagion's Plague Blade. And one of them is lethal. 3s to wound... No, 5s to wound your Abominant. What am I talking about? 1 wound. You need a 6. You don't get a 6. It was on 11. It's down to 8 remaining. And then, of course, I kept a flail there. So the flail will go flailing about your legs. And hit on 3s. I just remembered that I get to reroll hits. Nothing is lethal. These are going to need 6s to wound. That's another wound. And that's a 5-up save.
No.
It's down to how many remaining? That was 2.
6 remaining.
6 wounds remaining. So it is bracketed. And it fights back. The Abominant flashes out with his Electro Scourge on 4s. 3s to wound. Okay, that many wounds. I've got to do them separately, I think. No, they've all got 4 up and vulnerable saves, all this lot. And it's 3 damage a time. So that'll kill him. That'll put my Lord down to, I think, 2 wounds remaining. And then you hit me with your tail.
Clobbering time.
4s. 2 hits. 3s to wound. 1 wound. I think the AP is -1.
He is -1.
He's alive on 2 wounds remaining. 3 wounds remaining. He's on 3 wounds remaining. Then we come down here to fight with the Sorcerer versus my Knight and the Hellbrute. We ran through that combat. You put 2 wounds on the Hellbrute because you should have fought that first over here. So we'll let you do that. And then I killed your dude. He's dead. That's the end of turn 4. We're about to go on to turn 5. Now, I'm only on this objective here because I don't control that one. I don't control that one. And you've pushed me off of this one. So we need to rack up some points because I think the Thousand Suns might actually be in the lead. A few moments later. Killed the tank, killed the drone, 4 points. Storm hostile objective, 5 points. 65 points to my 60. I pick up 5 on the primaries. So would you add them and eve it? It's 65 points each at the start of turn 5, and the Thousand Suns move on to objectives and score them at the very end of the game. It's about as close can be as we go on to Death Guard turn 5. 1 minute before we did the turn 5, I did the fight back with my heavy bubotic weapons into Hellbrute. I managed to take 2 wounds off of them.
Scratch the paintwork.
Scratch the paintwork. He's on 6 wounds remaining. Now we're going to go on to Death Guard turn 5. Here are the orders. The plan is to kill stuff, no prisoners. I thought that was the plan all along. And extend my battle lines. So it's 65 points each. I need to kill as much as possible. I've passed my battle shock everywhere, so I fell back with the Plague Marines here. That Dreadnought's on 6 wounds. And I want to one-shot it with the Blade Burst Crawler. I would have kept in close combat, but the blast needs to go in as well. Mm-hmm. And you can't fire blasts in close combat. So I've moved around from the trees, so you're not getting cover or any of that shenanigans. Kill Hellbrute. That's 1 dead thing. Can't get to this central objective over here. But your Knight Abominant's on 6 wounds remaining. So I can probably kill that as well. There's an 11-inch charge with the Hellbrute here. This is a Hail Mary shot into the Land Raider. But my Lord of Contagion fell back from combat. And I've got Plague Marines, Spitter, and Abominant on Abominant action trying to kill your Abominant. Now the thing is, not only do I need to kill it for no prisoners, but if it's dead, because my drone is now there, I will also be extending my battle lines. So there's a lot of points in trying to kill this Abominant. So let's start here. First up though, the storms from my Abominant hit your Abominant on a 3, and it does, and does D3 for 1 mortal wound on your Abominant, putting it down to 5 remaining. Badger King has spent his 2 Cabal points again to give him the reroll to save in the shooting phase. Cabal points. Here is the Volkite Combuster from my dude, which needs 4s to wound and 6s are devastating. There's a devastating wound. So there's 3 wounds right there, and that is a 3-up save. You've got 2 wounds remaining.
So save or death?
Death.
Reroll.
Do you want to?
Well, I've got my free jobby.
Okay.
I can only use it over here.
Okay.
He's alive.
He's alive. Right, let's spit on him with the plague sprayer and melt him into slag. Spit on him 5 times. This will actually wound him on 5s now because contagions and things. 2 wounds. And that'll be 5 up and vulnerable saves because of contagions and things.
Oh, it's a 5 in total. Does that count?
No. Do we have our first explosion? We don't have our first explosion. I feel like most of the vehicles here just fell apart to rot, rust and ruin, and other things beginning with R. So I've extended my battle lines. Now we're going to come over here, try and kill me a Hellbrute. I'm spending a CP on Ferric Blight, which improves the AP of the shots by 1. Here is the Plague Burst Mortar number of shots. Maximum shots. Or maximum effort, as Deadpool would say. None of these are lethal. This is strength 8 versus toughness Hellbrute.
Toughness 9, but I mean
becomes
contagion
8.
8.
So force to wound. 2 wounds and -1 becomes -2. 2 4-up saves. And that is 2 more damage. It's down to 4 remaining. Here are the entropy cannons. And they both miss. Come on, boy! And it hits. Strength 10. I need a 3. It wounds. You need a 6 to save because of contagions. Negative. And this is D6 plus. You're spending a command point to try and roll a 6.
Well, why not?
It's worth a lot of points, to be fair. Oh, I saw it for a moment. Right, D6 plus 1 damage. It's a 50-50 chance. Well, actually, no, it's a 2/3 chance because I need a 3. Are you ready? I'm not ready. It's a 3. It's a 3. That is 4 damage. That is a dead Hellbrute, which drop dice don't count. Which doesn't blow up either. Boring. Just gets rotted. And that's the end of my shooting phase. I'll do the auto cannon from the thing into the thing. That's one of them hits and it doesn't wound. And there is a potential 11-inch charge from my Hellbrute. Because right now I've got 4 points for no prisoners. Kill your Land Raider in close combat. That's many points. Strangely, I didn't make the 11-inch charge. I do have a CP though.
Oh, man. Nope.
Strangely, I don't make the 11-inch charge. That is the very end of Death Guard. Turn 5. I mean, there's some more shots with the Death Guard over here that could hit the Land Raider, but we're not going to do anything. It's not going to change the shape of the battle, and this unit fell back. So at the very end of battle round 5 for the Death Guard, the Death Guard are 9 points in the lead. And all the 1,000 Suns have left is 3 vehicles over here, 2 empty rhinos.
There's some sneaky Zangors.
And some sneaky Zangors over there. Now, you're 9 points behind. You're already OCing me off that objective. If you move the Land Raider, though, you're not OCing me off the objective. So that is 5 points here.
Yeah.
10 points there. That's a victory. I forgot about the rhino back there. That's a victory. And then you can advance with the cat. Roll a d6 just to see how far. Because you could try and get onto this objective here.
Zeech and cat.
They're going to move 13, which isn't enough. I think we said they needed a 4 or 5 or something like that. But even before we draw any cards, it'll be a 1 point. Let's take cards. Behind enemy lines, well, you can't move the Land Raider out of the way. Overwhelming force, kill units in range of objectives, where you could potentially shoot the crap out of the Plague Marines.
Yes.
So we did some dice rolling, because why not? That's what we're here for. And you shot the clap out of the Plague Marines with glass cannons and things like that, and they've wiped out.
Just a green puddle.
Yeah, a puddle of goo. Ahriman died. So many people died down here. So at the very end of the battle round, it is a victory for the 1,000 Suns by 6 points. And this is the way the world ends. Before we start chatting, I just have to shout out Den of Imagination one more time. I mean, they just do some absolutely stunning work. Anyway, we racked up the points and added on the painting standard. It is 80 points to the 1,000 Suns, 74 points to the Death Guard. And what the hell happened there?
I don't know. Turn 1 and 2, dice rolling was terrible. Zeech didn't like me.
Didn't like me either. I think I put...
Your shooting wasn't brilliant, but when you got in combat, there was lots of squishing. Those Terminators did... I mean, the Demon Prince, he's just back in the warp. I didn't get my units out. Again, that mistake of not deploying stuff out my Rhino, out my Land Raider to get more Cabal points.
I don't think you ever had 9 Cabal points at one point to do Death X, because either things were in reserve or in Rhino's order. And
that really hurt, because the Thousand Suns, those Cabal rituals are really powerful. I mean, that Doom Bowl that Araman did for free, if I could do one of those Paternal strip off the saves, would have made a big difference. But then turn 3 started turning around for me. The cards were good draw, and I could start scoring.
Yeah.
And Tzeentch then decided he was going to bless the dice, and it got better.
It got better. I think we both had a quick chat off camera. I think the critical moment was when you deep struck back here, and you tried to kill Magnus and failed to kill him in shooting.
Yeah, he plinked 2 wounds off with all the bolts and everything else, and then came...
Which was the good thing to do. Tzeentch were like, no, you're not shooting him that way if you bring it down. Instead, I'll let you have your 9-inch charge to stop me getting... capture my outpost and kill him in close combat.
Yeah, kicked him in the shins.
Yeah, you kicked him in the shins. He fell over. You stopped me getting those 8 points. That was a very Tzeentchy thing happened down there. That was big.
They say, isn't it, the whole movement shenanigans is so powerful for 10th edition, and being having to that redeploy.
I like it. Wherever you can find that in a codex, I like it. And I know the internet might flame me for running my Terminators into your knight over here, but I feel like that worked for me personally, because it did keep the knight out of the fight and allow me to turn around and kill it at the very end of the game.
Well, let's face it, that charge they did was on full 22 wounds. They slammed in with just 5 of them, took him down to half. So a little bit better on the dice rolling, and it would have been even worse.
Yeah.
And if you had a couple more Terminators in there, it wasn't a bad choice. It locked him up and gave him a good kicking.
Yeah, they kicked him in the shins quite a bit. So a really close game of chaos on chaos, but at the end of the day, it turns out that the Thousand Suns were blessed by Tzeentch this day. But that was really good fun. There was lots of shenanigans that were happening all over the place.
It was tremendous fun.
I particularly liked the fact that Magnus couldn't take out Mortarion in single combat, even though he was on a couple of wounds left. Did you see that?
You did give him a good kick in, and then you did then he ran away.
No, he
ran away and then shoved everything else into Magnus. Half your army to kill Magnus.
No, Mortarion has been reading the Codex Astartes. He's been studying up on Guilliman's work. Now Guilliman's back, you see. And he's like, fall back, retreat, and attack again. He's like, these Ultramarines tactics, these are quite handy. We should have been doing them a few thousand years ago.
10,000 years ago. I should have read the book then.
Yeah. I mean, Magnus has read plenty of books, and half of them he definitely shouldn't have read. But Mortarion, he's not big for school.
Well, the pages is all the gunk and everything else. It makes all the books mucky.
Yeah.
It's not somebody you want to borrow a book off afterwards.
No, he uses mainly pages for toilet paper. Anyway, thank you for coming down. That was glorious.
Thank you for having me.
It was good to have you. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. It was a long one today, 3,000 points, and it gets sweaty in here sometimes. But it's always good to roll dice, have fun, and see stuff not explode across the battle grid. You are Badger King in the Discord.
I am Badger King in the Discord.
So don't forget to shout them out in the Discord. You've been to events and things. People have seen you around.
Yes.
You're at March Winners. Are you coming to the King in the North?
I am coming to King in the North. And
Brilliant.
Bringing the wife again as well, because she loves to have a game.
She's lovely, she is.
I don't. How she puts up with me, we don't know.
I don't know. No one knows. I was asking around last time, like, how does he put up with, she put up with... No one knows. No. I might actually ask her once, but I'm afraid that she might actually tell me. Anyway, we do hope you enjoyed that battle report. Happy wargaming. 1 minute. Say that again.
Right, so I painted all of these, but my wife, because she's the much more delicate painter, she's done all of the chaos, like the hand-painted symbols and everything else on it. And this in chaos says... that there says hashtag Badger King versus Winters. And there's other stuff on there that she's written as well. Comedy stuff that she's written on rhinos. And,
has she? Is there rude words and all your Tzeentch stuff here?
Probably, knowing her. Yeah.
You told me as well that she taught you to paint.
Yes.
And taught you to keep your elbows off the table and chew with your mouth closed.
Shower daily, how to dress myself. Basically, if it wasn't for her, I'd be a mess in the corner.
Yeah, I think that's how it works. I still struggle with showering daily, by the way. It's an issue. That's why I play Death Guard. Anyway, happy wargaming.